live.
We are live. We're on YouTube. We're on the Discord. People can see us. They can almost smell us.
Gross.
Can you adjust his camera a little bit?
Get rid of your
get
elbow.
my elbow out of the shot.
You and your goddamn elbow.
You hate that elbow.
Your elbow's always trying to get attention.
It really is. It really is a star.
It's like a broad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is.
All right, hike your elbow up.
And the other one.
And then producer Chris, you want to just tilt that just a tiny little bit just to get him centered up good. Less drastic.
Don't muscle it. All right, I won't move. It's a strange ritual, but it works.
Oh, we're almost there, guys. Let's see. Can everyone talk a little bit? Make sure I have the levels okay.
Hello, check 1, 2. I sound kind of quiet in my head.
Yeah, you're not on at all.
Andy sounds very quiet.
Could try that.
Probably
Oh yeah, that's
by
that's much
design.
better.
I mean,
Just try and mute you at home.
That's why I was doing that. That's why I was checking it. Motherfuckers.
nope.
All right. And Lucy, you sound all right?
I think so. I hope so.
I think so,
I mean, maybe late and gay, but I'm not always included in that. So
That's true. We can only hope. One can only hope that you're late and gay. All right. Cool. I think we got everything we need to do a show.
You recording? You want to hit a drop, buddy?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, it's a quality drop.
Lisa and Helga, these girls ain't fellas.
wow,
Okay. So it's things seem to be working. You hear everything on your end, Lucy?
I can. It sounds great.
Okay. Good. Well, then we'll get things rolling here.
I'm just a pretty boy eating soup by the window during a snowstorm.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Episode
602.
Are you a boner guy?
Oh, I was a boner guy.
You know what? I miss penis.
What are you talking about?
I'm the one who should apologize.
Is it going to be absolutely riveting? Is it going to change your life by any stretch? Probably not, but it's going to be at least entertaining, okay?
By the way, for those people that are in the back, remember to shut the fuck up.
Cuz-a-roo. Slap-a-rooney.
It's showtime.
WATP.
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 Hello, Robotics and Cuzzaroos. Welcome to another episode of Who Are These Podcasts, the only show that still hasn't had a sex scandal discovered. I'm your host, Carl. With me today, he's the negative creep whose show, All Apologies, is in bloom. It's Trucker Andy.
Let's talk shit.
Also with us, fresh from another meeting with the WATP HR department, from Once Over with Kaylee, it's Lucy Tightbox.
The meeting went well.
Oh, great. Just what I wanted to hear. Also, producer Chris is here with us.
Hello.
Please go to whoarethese.com. That's where you get our email address, voicemail number, link to our subreddit, link to our Discord server, link to our merchandise, link to our YouTube channel, and that link to Patreon and Supercast, featuring 2 exclusive bonus episodes every single month. You can also get our mailing address on whoarethese.com. I have a gift here. Well, I have a few gifts here. One for Lucy that I haven't opened yet. So next time you're over, next time I see you, I'll give that to you. But please keep the gifts coming. Pony Power 2 coming up big. I sent my Nick Rekieta Baldo with Nick Rekieta's face in it over. Do you want to borrow this, Lucy? You look excited about it.
It looks terrifying.
I know.
That's how I felt.
That's how you get your Patreon numbers up right there. The Nick Rekieta
is.
Baldo.
Put your balls in there, Lucy.
I took a video of this and sent it over to Nick, and he had a good sense of humor about it.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, so he liked it. Guys, Hackamania is 2 months away. May 9th through May 11th. Live podcast from Who Are These Podcasts to creep off this little piggy. Biggest problem in the universe. Nobody likes onions, weird medicine, Tukey soup. It's all happening in Las Vegas. Hackamania.com. Promo code WATP. Get 10% off your tickets. Make it happen. Also, we are doing Dabble House. Are we all in for Dabble House, kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right. Excellent. Well, Dabble House, we're going to be watching or listening to season 2 of The Tapes. Kate Meany was able to lure in Stuttering John yet again.
Oh, it was so difficult.
I think he reached out to her first again after calling the FBI on her 3 times.
Could you lure me in again?
Yes. So very excited to have Dabble House. If you go to dabblecon.live, you can purchase your tickets. April 11th and 12th will be the live podcast. We're going to have WATP featuring season 2 of The Tapes and many other things. We're going to have an Uncle Rico show featuring season 2 of The Tapes. And we're going to have a viewer film festival contest. So please start to think up your ideas for a film. We have a lot of great creators in the Dabbleverse. So we're excited to have a contest for filmmakers out there. Also, we encourage our listeners, give us 5 stars wherever you review podcasts and then shit all over us in the comment section today. We'll be reviewing a show called Master the Allegations Against Neil Gaiman. This is a suggestion from Trucker Andy. He's been following this very closely on the All Apologies podcast. It's a show hosted by Paul Karanakaliza, close enough, and Rachel Johnson.
Yeah. Thank you, Rachel, for having a normal name.
Yes, with producer Katie Gunning. And this is a show all about Neil Gaiman, who is a fantasy author. He's one of the most famous currently working and probably of all time, prolific in what he's written and developed for not just books and comic books, but movies and TV series, and active with multiple series, although some of those have been dropped.
Yeah, well.
So some of the series have concluded because of these allegations and things that are happening. And this podcast is what's making it all happen. Andy.
Seemingly ineffectual podcast. This all came out in July and August of 2024 to virtually no awareness of anybody.
It's pretty dry.
And
That show is pretty dry.
well, right. That's the crazy thing. The show is so boring that the accusations leveled at Neil Gaiman just get ignored because the people that produced it are awful. In clip 1, you're going to get a good idea of how boring this show actually is.
And these are real journalists.
They're reporters. They're not
Yeah.
entertainers. That's
Right.
and it's going to be
Okay.
perfectly clear.
And ended up going there that weekend, and she said, "Can you just work for me full time?"
The role being offered to Scarlett is more like that of an au pair than a formal nanny. Scarlett will live with the family and help both parents with childcare, and as it turns out, cooking and cleaning too.
We've got the WhatsApp exchanges from that afternoon of 4th February. From them, we can work out that the first time Scarlett meets Neil Gaiman is just before 2 p.m. at the ferry terminal. Neil Gaiman and the child go on ahead to Waiheke. Scarlett grabs an overnight bag and follows them on a later ferry. From the WhatsApps, we can see Neil Gaiman then arrange to meet Scarlett at his house. At 5 minutes past 2, he writes, "It's a 12-minute bus ride and a 5-minute walk over a secret wetland path." So we know that Scarlett arrives at the house at around 4:30 p.m.
Oh, phew.
Oh my God. Please tell me we're not going to continue on with this bore fest. What are these details?
I know. I
Who
had
gives a shit?
I had to play that one so to illustrate just how the lack of entertainment that they're putting into the narrative of this, because the details of these allegations from these women are insane and crazy,
Titillating.
and salacious,
Yes,
and titillating,
right.
And these people
This
could
should
not
be
be
so easy to turn into an amazing podcast.
right, and they could not make it less interesting. Especially Paul, he is the opposite of a hype man. Whatever.
He's a nap man.
yeah. He's a kindergarten teacher flipping the lights on and off, just telling everybody to settle the fuck down. He's so fucking boring every time he comes on. So I tried to minimize that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That reminds me so much of all of the true crime books that only come in soft cover. So like when you can't get a true crime book in a hardcover, all of them are like, it was a Tuesday. It was a little bit rainy. The rain came up onto the porch, and I'm like, you don't fucking know. You weren't goddamn there. Nobody cares about any of that. Nobody cares.
I love it when she gets mad.
Fired up.
This reminded me of the first podcast I ever heard, which was called Serial, like 15 years ago.
Sure.
And it was a lot more compelling back then.
Yeah, you can't get away with this anymore. And they fully did the Serial thing. Now, well, I'll save that for later. But they're just like, now we're going to show you how the sausage is made. No, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to know more about Paul and Rachel in any way.
Oh, they don't talk about sausage?
They talk about Neil's sausage.
I was going to say somebody's sausage.
Yeah. So that nanny au pair that they're describing there is Scarlett. She is the first person that brought this allegations to the table. She started reaching out to reporters and media and the police. And the only reason we found this in 2025 is because she just keeps filing lawsuits against Neil. So it keeps showing up in the news feed. And that's how Joe Sixpack and I were just like, well, what's this all about? Oh, it all goes back to July of 2024.
And the lawsuits also include Amanda Palmer, which is Neil's ex-wife. They're currently going through a divorce.
I feel like they're always just kind of separated. They don't, but I was explaining to Carl, it's kind
they have a kid together. I mean, they're always separated.
They don't.
It's a way to be.
Were married.
They're not together.
No, I know. They're divorced.
I mean, it's like 5 years in the making.
No, it was filed. Yeah, it was filed a few years ago. Correct.
And he's like, that's just marriage.
Yeah, right.
What's confusing about this? I'm sorry. What am I missing?
Nobody's signing the papers, Carl, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But Paul and Rachel are trying to set this up as a Ghislaine Epstein kind of duo.
Right.
And that'll be made a little more clear later. But let's get to the sexy stuff.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
finally.
So
I don't get my zipper down over here for nothing.
Right. It's like, sex. Go.
Scarlett apparently doesn't know anything about anything. And this part of episode 1, Neil has an outdoor bathtub where he's going to say, hey, yeah, it's, this is what we do. If you feel like taking a bath outside, go ahead and strip down and jump in. And things are going to take a turn for, I don't know, the better.
He still had time to kill, apparently. So he said, do you want to have a bath? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. He said, okay, cool. I'll bring you a bath. And I thought nothing on Rachel. I know it sounds crazy, but I truly thought nothing of it. So he runs me a bath. The bath is outside, down at the bottom of the garden, under this what we call a pahushakawa tree, which is a big tree with red flowers. And he gives me a towel and says, just, feel free, come out, when you're ready. So I got in and I, was just sort of on my phone.
So Scarlett says Neil Gaiman leaves her to get into the bath alone and tells her to get out whenever she's done. She says he then goes into the house, and when he comes out again, she says, he's naked.
Well, yeah.
And then I hear, maybe 5 minutes later, clunk, clunk, clunk down to the bath, the stones. And I was like, what the fuck? But also was maybe thinking it was normal.
All right, I'm not here to victim blame. This isn't the creep off. But if you have an outdoor tub and you're like, hey, why don't the first time you're meeting a guy to be his nanny, you come over and he's like, hey, why don't you take your clothes off and get in the outdoor tub? She's like, okay.
Yeah. You really stink.
First things first, wash that stink up.
Yeah.
Show of hands, has any man ever offered to run you a bath? She's like, oh, I thought it was normal. This is just what they do in New Zealand. Lucy, men running baths for you?
Yeah, it's very romantic. Not in an outdoor bathtub,
Also,
but I
chew
would
this
do
gum
it.
while you're at it. Your armpits
Also,
and your
Andy,
mouth stink.
I thought that we were going to be getting to the sexy stuff, not to descriptions of trees.
We got to set the table.
Yeah.
Neil, a 60-year-old man is showing up naked. You're not turned on yet?
Constantly. Come on.
Okay. Well, if that one didn't do it for you, maybe this clip 3 will.
All right.
He ended up sort of asking me to put my legs down, and I ignored him. And then he said, come on, get comfortable. And, again, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm a bit shy. And then he asked me again and sort of, gestured. And so I put them down and he started sort of caressing my legs. I don't know, it's sort of hard to talk about on Zoom. So next thing I knew, his fingers were in my ass and I wasn't
move.
Nice.
Really sure what was happening, and
You were getting your butt fingers.
Yeah, it sounds like you do.
Then he made me give him a hand job, and I said no at first because I'm not interested in
I'm more interested in blowjobs.
Anatomy. And then he said, you don't know what you're missing out on. Come over here. And then kept pushing it to the point where I was just like, fine. And then he just jerked off over me.
Oh, all right. Well, now you're really gonna need a bath.
Yeah, right.
You're in the right place for this.
Yeah,
Worked out well.
Problem solves itself.
Now, again, I'm not trying to victim blame here. This all sounds very horrific.
You don't need to try.
All right. The idea, like, what? How is he supposed to act? You're both naked in a bathtub in this romantic setting in New Zealand. Should we start reading books silently to ourselves?
She was asking for it.
Right. And this is just this is like the job interview, basically.
Yeah.
She keeps saying, you can hear her being giggly about it too. Yeah. She has this nervous energy. She has like a nervous laughter.
You would too if you had fingers in your asshole when you met your boss for the first time.
Okay. So now he has established their relationship, and this is just going to be part of the job, basically. So now from there, this is where things get to the master, the dom. She's the sub, and this is going to be Neil is going to get creative with it.
Okay.
In clip 4,
it was so confusing because I feel like at the end of it, he made me feel like it was consensual, but it wasn't consensual.
Remember back when you were saying yes to this?
The anal was basically the last thing on the fucking planet, I think, is like I want to do.
That same Saturday evening, after she's put the child to bed, Neil Gaiman anally penetrates her, she says, without asking and without using a condom.
Surprise!
And she says that he uses butter as a lubricant.
That's delicious.
You guys know I love butter.
Look, if you're going to do ATM, that's one of the better options out there.
Yeah, right.
Delicious.
You got to season up that ass.
I will say this. All right, I'm going to take her side. I'm going to take the nanny side right now.
Sure.
Anal, you should always ask. There should be some conversation that goes on.
Yeah.
Some type of acknowledgement. Maybe it doesn't have to be words per se.
Yeah.
You just hit tap.
Yeah.
Would you like it here or?
Let's have a plan.
Yes. So I'm gonna take the counterpoint here, Carl.
Yes,
I'm gonna take his side. Okay, so she is describing this not necessarily as an essay at this point, just something that she doesn't want to do, which is a form of essay, but
Sure.
Let's just separate those two things. It would be challenging to just stick it up a butt, even if you have a big chunk of butter in there, without some sort of conversation, some sort of we're moving around to this position. So
she would
she
need
must
to
have
loosen
been
up a little bit, right?
participating to some extent,
I
right?
see. I mean, it's the last thing she wanted, according
But
to
she
her.
did
but...
it.
Is it? According to clip 5, we might find out otherwise.
Oh,
no.
So it's already contradicted?
Hello, darling. I've had a crazy weekend. To getting bitten by a spider, to ridiculously crazy and rough and kind of amazing sex.
Misma remembers receiving this text.
She framed it as both like a positive and a negative thing in the same sentence, like that she just had like good but quite rough or good but like violent or something sex with a man, and like not to tell anyone.
So Scarlett's texting a friend of hers, con, I saw a spider. Pro, I got butt fucked by Neil Gaiman.
You're in the lead.
Yeah.
Bad things and good things happen. Now, what's the age difference here? Isn't Neil Gaiman like 60 at this time? And she's 22 or 23?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
There's hope for us all.
Almost all of the women in this story are in their 20s, with one exception that we'll get to. But
30s, I
hope. At any rate, Neil's going to establish dominance in clip 6.
She's dependent on him for bed, board, and income, and in return, he uses her as, in her words, his fuck pig, and makes her call him master.
Not slam piece. I prefer slam piece to fuck pig, but both get the job done.
Yeah, slam piece is a term of endearment. Fuck pig is
a job.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Fuck Pig's tour, the Eras tour. Trisha Paytas.
Yeah. Fuck Pig is opening for Trisha Paytas at the Budokan. I mean, Trisha Paytas kind of looks like the Fuck Pig.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah. So that is, I mean, a lot of people are into BDSM, and to try and minimize, that's what this podcast is doing. It's kind of stealing the agency of people that are into it away from them retroactively 20 years later, saying, this is my biggest problem with this show, is that they're trying to say that you can repeal consent 20 years later after you realize that you didn't end up being Neil Gaiman's girlfriend and you didn't get enough out of that relationship. Now I would like more out of that relationship in a sum of money, is really what all of these narratives are right now.
And the problem is it's working.
That's precedent.
Right.
Yeah, Neil, you're fucking this up.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Neil, you guys got to stop giving $60,000 out at a time to these women.
Right.
I feel stupid. Pay me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I made a bad decision. Give me money.
And I said this Scarlet woman just keeps bringing these lawsuits to the table months and months later, weeks later, but it's never going to go anywhere because of clip 7.
Hi Neil, how are you? I miss you so much, as I said in my text. I hope that you're doing all right. Let me know, I worry. I am doing better today. I've been terrible.
There are files of photos and videos
Hopefully one day soon.
and pages of messages.
And I'm sending
Jesus,
you
Paul, slow down.
all my love.
So how did they get that voicemail? That sounds like it was on Neil's phone.
I think it's all Scarlet. She's like, oh,
she's
here's
recording these things and keeping them? That's dumb.
Here's every WhatsApp I ever sent her, Neil. Here's every voicemail I ever sent Neil.
Oh, wow.
And it's all saying, hey, I love you, Neil. I was totally into it. Let's keep this going.
Right.
And now she's just like, oh, well, I didn't mean any of that. Well, the cops are going to disagree.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
Okay. So will Neil.
But in clip 8, this is just some more crazy details that I had to include.
Clean him up. That became a big thing. So he made me vomit multiple times, and then I would get punished and have to clean him up. Or if the anal sex was too painful and I was basically screaming, he would get really, really angry, and I would get punished and have to clean him up, which would often mean performing, oral sex on him after
anal sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understood it when he got the butter out. I was like, yeah, I get this. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, clean it up.
I just wish one woman would be like, yeah, it was so painful having sex with Carl. I was screaming. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say what I'm learning from this is Neil Gaiman's dick is huge.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. Is he the one behind all of this? Is he the one putting this out there?
Yeah.
Trying all new fans lining up.
I need people to know about this.
Yeah.
One of the other ones, I can't believe I forgot to include this one. One of his other favorite punishments was pissing on his hand and then slapping her in the face with it.
That's
a punishment?
You could skip a step.
Yeah, why get your hands wet?
Yeah, Joe Sixpack likes to call that the Infinity Gauntlet. But all right, we got a lot of clips here.
Too many.
I think I'm going. Yeah. So I think I'm going to skip ahead to clip 13, Carl.
Yes.
I mentioned that these WhatsApps are kind of a deal breaker for Scarlett, and the cops are going to tell her as much.
It's about our role in protecting the victims from putting them through another trauma in court, where the question marks that I've got only get bigger in court. When a defence lawyer comes on to where I'm at now, a defence lawyer will make you look like you asked for it and everything else. And the reasons why is because there's a question mark. There will be a question mark over what you felt was consent at the time. What I'm saying to you is, in your case with the Gaiman matter, it wouldn't stand up in court, and you would probably come off for the worse if we took this to court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's going to be the theme of this entire podcast. But they're going to insist that they're going to have a big reveal.
Okay.
Almost every episode is just like, well, you're not going to believe what the person that came forward next said. And you're like, oh, well, maybe we're going to find out that Neil Gaiman is a monster. No, we're going to find out that there's even more fucking gold diggers coming out of the woodwork. Clip 15.
After weeks of speaking to people in the world of comics, I get a message from someone else who worked in the industry. I had contacted this person asking about sexual misconduct, but without mentioning Neil Gaiman. We agree to speak, and when we do, this person tells me, when I read your message, I thought, if this guy is working on a story about Neil Gaiman, then he's hit the jackpot.
Now, who he's referring to here is a fan of Neil Gaiman. Her goes by Kay in this, and she keeps coming to his events. He hosts speaking, reading engagements where he meets the fans. And
There's a lot of book signings and things.
Correct.
Fans line up for it.
She goes to 2 or 3, and they get to know each other. And Neil Gaiman's only crime is that he's trying to get laid in clip 17.
The age of consent in Florida is 18, so they're legal. The question, so casually posed to these 2 young friends, do they want to go to bed with a married man in his 40s they've only met a couple of times together? Yes. Well, this is how he sold it.
Oh, you guys said it was my birthday. This would be a great birthday present. You guys both came to bed with me. No thanks. And he said okay and went back to his room, and we kind of never talked about it. We were just kind of like, that was weird.
So he asked them if they wanted to have sex and accepted their refusal.
Yeah.
Okay. Horrible.
What a monster.
Also,
I don't like the birthday thing though. That's corny.
Well, no, they were out to eat, and the girls were just like, "Oh, it's Neil's birthday. Can you have a free dessert?"
Yeah. He's like, "Well, I'm on a diet, but
brownie sundae."
Yeah.
What were we gonna say, Lucy?
I'll just have a stick of butter. I would, if I was 18 years old and Neil Gaiman was like, "Hey, you want to go bang?" I would be like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, absolutely, I would have.
Okay, what if you were your age right now and Neil Gaiman said that?
Probably.
All right, there you go. I don't know why you had to qualify as 18 first.
It sounds like he wouldn't be interested in me at my age.
That could be true.
Yeah.
That could be true.
Yeah.
Although now he probably wants to clean up his image.
Well,
that's true.
What Lucy's saying is Neil's normal interaction with his fan base.
Yeah.
Paul and Rachel have found the 5 people that are trying to say that they weren't okay with it. Out of everybody that he's ever fucked, they found the 5 people that have a problem with it in 2025.
And I mentioned that Amanda Palmer, the wife, and Andy immediately jumped down my throat. But they were married, but it was an open relationship. So the entire time he was married, they're both fucking anyone they wanted to. Amanda, by the way, is a musician.
Oh, God, she's the worst.
The Dresden Dolls.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar. Not my thing.
If you want to know more about that, please go find my Neil Gaiman Master episode. It heavily features how terrible Amanda Palmer is. She's the fucking worst.
She's got 20,000 Patreon followers.
Oh,
wow.
It's mind-boggling because she is the most pretentious asshole I've ever listened to. But in clip 19, Kay is going to these, Comic-Con, Hall H, these engagements. They want access to Neil. This is very transactional. They want to have backstage passes, and Neil wants a fucking blowjob. And that's...
Yeah,
they are saying, I'm cool.
The story as old as time.
Yeah.
The email states, if I just happened to fly to the UK just very casually on a whim, you would tell me what hotel lobby to hang out in, right? my neglected loins are looking at cheap flight options even as I type this. When we asked Kay about this email, she provided us with the full thread. It shows that Kay's email was in response to one Neil Gaiman sent her, one that started their email exchange and contained only a photo of the actor David Tennant in costume for a Good Omens production.
That was kind of funny. She wanted to meet David Tennant, so Neil's like, "Oh yeah, he's at this hotel. It's in this room." And she shows up, and it's Neil's room.
Baller move right there.
And it's my birthday.
Oh, you just missed him. Damn it. and it's my birthday.
Yeah. Can I run you a bath? So now she is under the impression that she's Neil Gaiman's girlfriend. They're traveling here. Like, he takes her on a trip. The whole time she's like, "Oh, I'm on my period. Oh, I have a UTI. Oh, my eye's infected. I don't want to fuck you, Neil." So Neil's
shoot
like,
on your back.
Yeah.
Your eye's infected.
So in clip 22, Neil's finally is like, "Well, if we're not going to fuck, I'm out of here." And he gets on a plane. She buys a $500 plane ticket and runs onto the plane and is begging him to not break up with it. This is really sad.
To like talk him out of it. Bought a $500 ticket on his flight. Got onto the plane. It's kneeled in the seat in front of him and was like, "Please don't do this. Please don't break up with me." And he was not having it. He was like, "Somebody get her off the plane. Get her off the plane."
Yeah, you don't put out.
They dragged me off the plane. I'm sobbing. It ended up refunding my ticket, I think more out of just like, please God, get this crying girl out of our face. And then I had to drive home to my dad's house, blind in one eye, because I didn't know what to do. And that was the end.
Did anyone care if she was refunded or not? Gives a shit.
She did.
Got me $500 back. Cool.
Yeah.
The trees
my
had
boyfriend
beautiful
broke
pink
up.
flowers.
Yeah. My boyfriend broke up with me and I'm out $500.
Yeah.
Does that sound like the actions of a woman that
Definitely
was
a victim.
not into it?
Definitely a SA victim that we're hearing right there as she's pleading for him not to break up with her.
Well, not just an SA victim, but a crazy SA victim who's totally, totally in love. Like, that's insane. That's insane. Those are the actions of a crazy person.
Or a woman. You could just said woman.
A woman. A woman.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the story of Kay. Also, seemingly into it. Seemingly wanted full access to a Neil Gaiman lifestyle. But this next woman is Caroline. She is Neil's housekeeper for his property, because Neil's pimping all over the world. I don't know if you know this. The first Scarlett was in New Zealand. Kay, I think, was in Florida. Now Neil bought a house in Woodstock, New York, not too far from here. And when Neil is pitching projects in England or LA, who's going to watch his property in Woodstock?
Me.
You wish. You don't give good enough head.
Yeah. Turns out it's Caroline, mother of three.
Producer Chris shows up with butter. He's like, "I'm ready for the job. I'll do whatever it takes."
Yeah. Dress for the job you want. So Caroline is a hippie. She's married at the time, and she is into ceramics. She makes pots, and she doesn't want a real job. So she's just managing Neil's property, living in his house while he's not there. The best part of the job, apparently, is when Neil's not there. But let's meet Caroline in clip 23.
So, Caroline, I know this is going to feel like a lot, but could we start from the beginning? Caroline Warner is now 63 years old. We speak over Zoom. Her story falls in the middle of Kay's and Scarlett's.
So we're basically living there 2014. We lived in that little place next to theirs.
Caroline is a ceramicist. Her husband, a builder and musician.
So she's 53 at the time. She's
right,
the nanny of this place.
Yeah.
So he wants nothing to do with this broad.
And they keep saying,
"There's still hope for me."
Gonna take a lot of butter.
They keep trying to be like, "Oh, this woman is a mother of three that has responsibility." Her kids got to be like 19, 22, and 28.
Right. Yeah, they're grown up.
Yeah, but they're trying to make it seem like she's in this position that she has no agency over.
Okay.
But in clip 26, so eventually she's bitching about doing anything other than making a fucking lopsided ashtray. Like Neil's like, can you go pick my mom up from the airport? Can you take my kids to preschool? And she's like, oh my God, what the fucking asks? And finally, her husband leaves her. So now she is kind of like, well, if it wasn't for Neil, I'd have no place to stay because I'm going through this messy divorce. And it becomes transactional. But this is a deal that she has put herself into. And in clip 26, she almost feels like she's Neil's girlfriend at this point.
And then the sauna was when it started. I remember him kissing me at the sauna that first time. And I don't know, putting his hands on me, putting my hand on him. I mean, this is what's embarrassing. I did think maybe he liked me.
But then she realizes that wasn't what was going on, because he told her.
And I said, what would Amanda say about this? And he said, about what? And I said, about this romance. That's what's embarrassing. And he said, Caroline, there is no romance.
So pathetic. But you fuck all your fans, all but one. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lucy.
But they've had some kind of arrangement. She's hanging around because I think Neil has promised her this house that she's living in that's like an in-law or something that's on the it's not the house proper, but she has this studio space and this place to live. And this is where Neil fucks up because at heart he's a nice guy. Like when he's not slapping you with a piss hand and
yeah, you're a real Neil Gaiman apologist over here.
I'm Team Neil all day.
I can tell.
I can tell you right now.
Sweetheart of a guy.
I've already listened to the whole thing, so take it from me.
Okay.
But where he's fucking up, he's too nice. He's like, oh well, I'm sorry that you're in this position, so I'm gonna fucking pay you out an insane amount of money in clip 8 or 28.
300K is what I came up with. 150 for real estate issues and 150 for the sexual trade issue. Something that I'm trying to come to terms with. Therapy alone is costing a fortune.
Caroline, with money lent by a friend, entered a residential therapy center. She was prescribed antidepressants and remains on them. In the end, Neil Gaiman settles with Caroline for $275,000 and an NDA later that month.
He is not a good negotiator.
No.
She started at 300 and he got it to 275. Those
like,
numbers are so made up. I need 120 for you not having sex with me. Okay, let's make that 110. What else you got?
Right. I don't think those blowjobs were worth as much as you think they are. How about a house and what 230,000? It's insane what he gave this woman.
I'm so in.
I know this is all just positive things that are happening. You're fucking Neil Gaiman. You're getting a big payout. You're on podcasts.
He has a giant hog. I get infamy. I get money. This sounds wonderful.
Promote Once Over with Kaylee while you're on the show.
Exactly.
Oh, it was so awful. He took me in the butt. By the way, I just did a review of Joker 2. You got to check it out.
All right, so that's Caroline. Now we're going to move on to Claire, who is the most insufferable person in this series. This is a 6-episode series. The one about Claire just it makes me so angry. So let's meet Claire in clip 30.
Your letter. If I'd known that I took up that headspace for you, I would have. I don't know. I definitely would have been reaching out a long time ago. I've never thought of you with anything other than fondness and a little awkwardness, and definitely feeling like I got the wrong end of the stick. But I thought you were terrific, and I was heartbroken seeing that I was giving you nightmares, so I'm really sorry.
Okay, so she is obviously recording conversations with Neil, Kate Meany style.
Yep.
And what we're going to find out is that Paul and Rachel she's come to them. They're trying to get this gotcha moment on Neil. And you can hear the regret that he did not know that she had these feelings about her interaction with him for years.
Right.
He was just like, oh, we had a good time, didn't we? Well, not now that I know that there's money to be made. According to Paul
that's
and
what's
Rachel.
going on?
Yeah, Paul and Rachel are like, hey, Claire, Caroline got $230K in a house. What did you get? Oh, let's find out. Let's start recording Neil without his knowledge. I don't know if he knows or not, but in 31, this is what she's angling for. Apparently, if you get attacked by a dog as a child, 20 years later, you can go to the owner of that dog and say, hey, I have emotional problems because of that incident. You owe me $19,000 every 6 months for the next 4 years.
I've been having nightmares about not getting rich.
So what I would propose is that I will give you $15,000 a year for 4 years, which is the top level of a tax-free gift. So I can gift you $15,000 each year, and you do not have to pay any tax or anything on that. That is just a gift. And then I'm going to make a hefty donation.
I'd be like, why don't you give me $100,000? I'll pay the taxes on it.
Yeah. That's what she says.
Oh, okay.
She's like, I'd rather have the lump sum because I'm a
That
fucking
place
idiot.
is a rape crisis center.
Yeah. So Neil she's like, you know how much therapy costs these days? He's like, all right, well, let me help you pay the bills. I got fucking money. And the really annoying thing here is, like we talked about with Amanda Palmer being a groomer. She facilitated these two meetings. Somehow, what's her name? Claire met Amanda Palmer. Amanda's like, go up to Neil and stick your tongue in his ear, or like say that you have a message from me, and whisper it to him and kiss him on the ear, and he'll be embarrassed, and you guys will have a meet cute, essentially.
Okay.
Clip 32.
And I told him that I had a message for him from Amanda. Then I asked him to stand up. And I still don't know where I got the courage to do that because I was so terrified. But he stood up and I gave him a big hug. And as I was pulling away, he kissed me on the cheek.
Claire says she never nibbled his earlobe as Amanda Palmer suggested she should, because she felt it would be too forward and in any case isn't into ears. We've reached out to Amanda Palmer, as we have multiple times before, but received no comment yet. But we have discovered that she and Neil Gaiman, though separated, are still married.
So I guess at the time of this recording,
Well,
that's why I slapped that down. But.
Yeah, I mean they're going through the divorce. I don't know what the deal is, but last month, Amanda Palmer was sued for alleged human trafficking, conspiracy to commit human trafficking, and negligence, which was filed as a multi-state filing due to the difficulty determining her actual current state of residency. No one knows where she is. She's just hiding from everyone.
So much for my cliffhanger to get people to come listen to my show.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
It's fine. But that's one of the craziest things. Right when episode 6 was running out, like I said, this came out in July and August, and we had covered everything up to episode 6, and we were about to do it, and I was kind of like, this has been so crazy and fun. I wish that it wouldn't end. And I went to go see what episode 6 was about. The day that I went to look, episode 7 came out 6 months later. So there is even more to uncover, but it sounds like what you're talking about is the bulk of that. Scarlett is still filing lawsuits. They're implicating Amanda Palmer, and they're going to bring all these WhatsApps where everybody was just like, let's keep fucking in the butt, Neil. Okay, let's take it to court.
Well, you asked me to do some research on Amanda Palmer,
Yeah.
so that's not completely my fault.
No,
but
it's not.
I just wanted to say, I wanted to have a part in this. But I just wanted to say that at first, when these allegations started coming out, Amanda was accusing everyone who was saying shit on social media to be bots. She was dismissing this and like, oh, it's another bot that's talking crazy shit or whatever. And then she got real quiet.
Yeah.
And wasn't saying anything. She put out a Patreon post and no one can really decipher what it is. She has links to songs and all these like photos and images and trying to figure out like, what does that mean? And people are trying to discover it. But she finally put out her official statement on her Instagram. And so on her Instagram, it says, I thank you all deeply for continuing to respect my recent request for privacy as I navigate this extremely difficult moment. I must protect my young child who is right to privacy and his right to privacy. With this as my priority, I will not respond to the specific allegations being made against me, except to say that I deny the allegations and will respond in due course. But this is the crazy part right here. She writes, my heart goes out to all survivors.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the part right there. I'm like, whoa, so there are victims of this. Why would you write to all the survivors?
Yeah, she's probably trying to throw Neil under the bus.
It seems like it. That's what it seems like to me. Like she doesn't
Especially,
want any piece of this, but she also just like, yeah, but go ahead and sue him.
Yeah, especially when we
so
listen to. Go ahead.
Is their divorce finalized at this point?
No.
Okay, so
Still not
that's
finalized.
exactly why she's saying that. She wants that to go in their divorce case.
She also wants custody, I believe, of Ash, their son.
Oh, yeah.
So she's looking to get custody of the son. And so, yeah, it's all very complicated.
Yeah,
as far as
definitely.
her angle on this, because she's not really talking.
And we already heard her involvement with this Claire person's introduction to Neil. If it wasn't for Amanda, maybe none of this would have happened. But it is Claire's fault when you're texting with Neil that you can't sleep, and he's like, hey, I'm going to call you, and we're going to have phone sex, and you don't decline. Clip 36.
And he talked about how he would flip me around and fuck me from behind.
Seems like that.
And through all of that, I did not say a word. And it felt deeply, deeply weird.
Still, the next day, Claire told him in an email, last night was absolutely wonderful and completely unprecedented. Haven't ever gotten off with someone on the phone before.
And I planned on going to one of his tour stops in Nashville a couple days later.
All right.
And she said, well, but then I changed my mind and I wasn't going to go to Nashville. Cut to clip 37. Guess who's in Nashville?
And he told me there was no pressure and I was under no obligation to do anything. But when we got to Nashville, the second we were alone, he started making out with me.
Yeah.
And he groped my butt and I moved his hands and I tried to keep my lower body away from his lower body. So in Nashville,
While still making
it was
out.
for the ocean at the end of the lane. He was doing readings. And there was a performer in the beginning to open, like an opening act. And so he asked me to come backstage while he was getting ready for the opening act.
And you said
And that was when I went backstage.
Okay. I mean, everything she's describing here is what is known as the dance.
Yeah.
This is what it's like, oh, I'm not coming to Nashville. And then you show up in Nashville. It's like, oh, I don't want you touching my butt. You're like, okay, want to come backstage? Yeah, but
right.
we all see what's happening here.
Yeah. In the next clip, we don't have to play this one, but there's other groupie starfuckers backstage, and she's like, Neil's kind of creepy, right? Right, everybody? If I give you jazz hands, just know that I'm uncomfortable. And Neil's like, hey, come sit on my lap. And she's like, I sat on his lap and he had a heart on. So I started doing jazz hands and everybody ignored it.
Everyone started singing jazz.
Everybody's doing jazz hands.
Putting on the Ritz. But in clip 39, she is going to text her boyfriend, who probably was like, please don't go fuck Neil Gaiman. What are you doing? And she's
Guess
like,
who I'm fucking?
No, I'm going to go hang out with Neil in Nashville. And she's texting him everything that's happening. And he's just not replying, probably because he's cheating on her because she's a fucking
Smart
bitch.
Guess who's notably bigger than you?
I messaged my boyfriend and told him I thought I'd been sexually assaulted and I wanted to go home.
Claire shared those messages with us.
thought?
They chart her emotional journey that night. At 7:14 p.m, I'm having a lot of fun. I shouldn't have dreaded this so much. At 9:36 p.m, so out of my comfort zone, and there's nothing I can do about it. Less than half an hour later, I'm safe with my friends. 39 minutes later, I need to leave. Frustrated by her boyfriend being non-responsive, she
would
writes,
too.
sarcastically, wasn't sexually assaulted much, or extremely harassed, or touched too inappropriately.
Right. And then her boyfriend finally replied, how did Neil's dick taste?
Yeah, I know. It's just like, how am I supposed to respond to these messages? They're back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah. Hope you're having a lot
to
of
do with
fun with
this?
another guy. Oh, you're not? This frowny face.
Right.
Fuck off.
Sarcasm is just rude.
So at this point, they have like no evidence. So what is Claire going to do except literally dream up evidence? She's writing a letter to Neil about a dream that she had where he apologized to her.
Oh no.
So I just set up a Google alert for Neil Gaiman sexual assault and I let myself rest.
And then she turned to her letter to Neil Gaiman. In it, Claire describes a recent dream she says she had about him, a dream in which he apologized to her and recognized that, she wrote, the vast power imbalance that existed between us made my consent to any kind of physical or romantic relationship impossible.
Wow. This is what hooked me. Andy and I were on vacation last week. We were talking about this. And when you said, yeah, one of the pieces of evidence was a dream this chick had, I went, okay, yeah, we got to talk about this on WATP. These people are stupid.
Yeah. So nobody that is rich and powerful can ever nobody that fucks somebody that's rich and powerful can ever fully consent to that, is what she just said.
Correct. And a lot of people think that's real. A lot of people think you can change your mind at any time. I've heard people, like creators, say, oh, I would never have sex with a fan. Why not? Those are the people who are the most willing. Like,
that's all Neil does.
Yeah, that's smart. What are you going to do? Introduce yourself? By the way, I'm a pretty big deal. Like, got to explain the whole fucking thing.
Why people want to get famous.
Right.
Especially uggos like Neil.
Correct.
He's not a handsome man. At any rate.
Lucy's into him.
Yeah.
I like the money
now
and the power imbalance.
Yeah. Now that Neil has brought a payout to Claire, he's on the hook for this money. He's questioning his own decisions. Like, how did I get here?
Right.
And in clip 41, he's going to ask her, like, I thought we were cool. Like, what happened?
I've been thinking about a lot in the last week.
Okay.
Why did you kiss me?
Yeah,
The first time you said, I have a message for you from your wife.
Oh, I didn't.
And then we were alone, and then you smooched me kind of passionately, and that was,
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I would never have made the first move on anybody. I would be terrified of that.
Come on, terrified? Figure it assholes and tell him what he's talking about.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, he's a little gun shy now. I get it. Yeah. But yeah, that is a pretty good question. Oh, so if you're really so scared of me and stuff, I'm such a horrible monster, like, why were you making out with me?
Yeah.
What's that all about? Oh, yeah.
You
Shit.
smooched me.
And you could hear it in her voice. She's like, oh, yeah, that thing I did that made you think that I like you. Yeah, I didn't fucking mean that.
Oops.
And in our last clip here, she's just going to continue to throw mixed messages at Neil. He's going to be stuck wondering how the fuck he, to this day, probably, as all these further allegations and lawsuits and his wife throwing him under the bus, he's just wondering how he found himself here now.
Okay.
And I thought that
So
what happened there? Because I thought that you liked me and wanted me, and that I
hear what you're saying.
sorry.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm gonna cut you off here because I don't think this is a super productive way of having this conversation in terms of
I'm
detail.
sorry.
And no, and I do want to say that I didn't kiss you.
You didn't?
Nope.
My attorney just said that I didn't kiss you and that we should stop talking right now. It's really fucking up my case.
Yeah. So all of these women, the moral of the story is they wanted things from Neil.
Right.
And mainly they got them.
Yep.
But now, years later, like 20 years later, they think that they didn't get enough.
Right.
The juice wasn't worth the squeeze. And by juice, I mean Neil's buttered dick in your ass.
Yeah, it's not just
See
that
that?
they wanted things from Neil, it's that they wanted his thing. Like, it doesn't sound like any of these women didn't want penis at one point or another.
Yeah, and it sounds like Neil is, when it comes to sex, he's into some weird shit. So
he's successful.
Yes. So it makes it easier for the women. Like, this reminds me of the Trevor Bauer case. Trevor Bauer, the best pitcher in all of Major League Baseball for the Dodgers. And then this woman came out and accused him of having really rough sex with her and beating her really badly. And he was suspended from baseball and then run out of baseball, had to pitch in Japan and then Mexico. And then it came out that this woman was messaging with her friend. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try to sleep with Trevor Bauer and get him in trouble and see if I can get a bunch of money from him. And like, she was planning this all along. Like, there's women who do this on purpose, try to honey trap these guys who have wealth and power, and then fuck with them.
Yep.
So it sounds like a lot of these women are seeing that opportunity now and going, oh, I could be part of this lawsuit.
Right. Neil's lawyer is just, you don't say you're sorry. You don't fucking pay him off. These are admissions of guilt. But guess what? Being kinky is not illegal. Being in an open marriage is not illegal. Being 60 and fucking an 18-year-old is not illegal.
What about pissing on your head and slapping someone?
Not illegal.
Not illegal? All right. So is that what you told HR, Lucy Tightbox?
Sure
Not
is.
illegal, I just found out.
So anyway, I guess we're gonna find out. You know, it's gonna come out eventually. Well, Neil's fate, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, very, very good presentation, Andy. This is something that is happening in real time. And more allegations are coming out, and these people are becoming stars. These two hosts of the show, Paul and Rachel.
Oh my God, they're the worst.
They're so bad. They have all these voicemails and interviews and all this shit. They can't do anything interesting with it.
The scary music bed.
Yeah. Sucks so bad. Speaking of breaking news, Lucy, you've come on to talk to us about Ethan Klein, who just got a 30-day ban from Twitch.
Yeah. He sure did.
I was talking about this, I think it was last night on This Little Piggy. Great episode, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, it's on our YouTube, if you're on our Patreon. I put out the audio version of that for everyone on our Patreon. And Aaron, an incredible week, accusing our buddy Melton of dressing up his dog as a martini and like thinking that was a big win, and we proved him wrong. But anyway, so we were talking on there about this suspension thing that YouTube does and Twitter does and Twitch. It's so weird that like you get suspended for 24 hours or 48 hours or 7 days or a month or 2 months. It's like, when did this become a thing?
Yeah, and also the things that you can and can't do are it's like
so arbitrary.
You can wear a bikini on if you're a thirst trap on stream, but you have to be in a kiddie pool. If you're not in a kiddie pool, you can't do it.
Right? Yeah.
You can do jumping jacks in a bikini as long as you're in a kiddie pool. If there's no pool, you're banned for a week.
It just
whatever.
seems counter.
Did you find out the hard way?
Yeah.
It seems counterproductive to everyone to ban someone for 7 days or 30 days, because if they're a big streamer, then the platform's missing out and the creator's missing out. And they can go to another platform and then take their audience with them over there, which is what we've seen happen to YouTube a ton. That's why Rumble exists, is because all these people get banned from YouTube and go, I'm on Rumble now. And they get tons of people to follow them over. So it just seems silly to me that they have these suspensions that go on. Like either they can be on your platform or not, but what's 7 days?
Yeah, it's
Right.
completely crazy. And in particular, what we're going to be talking about today, which is going to be Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker and both of their bans, has just completely revealed all of the hypocrisy within Twitch and how they are handling things. So this has been blowing up a ton. But before we actually get into the topic, I just want to say that you and Casey Day did an awesome job when you were covering this drama a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, thank
you. In H3H3. I struggle a lot with following all of the Ethan Klein and Hassan drama because there's just so much going on all of the time. And you guys covered it so extremely well. And I know that Casey
Day's into it.
Yeah,
you sent me a couple links today that I'm going to show us in a little bit.
He's pushing for Ethan to become the Earl of the Ethanverse, and I'm kind of into it after doing tons of research this week. So I get it. So today we're going to be checking out. We're going to talk about things that happened about a month ago. So about a month ago, Ethan released his content nuke. You guys talked about that a little bit. This is basically his intention was to destroy Hassan by showcasing the fact that Hassan had sympathy for terrorists. That was his goal. That was his goal.
And I don't know if we talked about this enough when Casey Day was on, But Hassan Piker was a guy that Ethan actually introduced the world to, a left-leaning political activist kind of guy who does these shows. And then they had a falling out, and now they're enemies. But Hassan Piker is actually a really bad dude.
Yes.
Like his views are ridiculous, and it shouldn't be difficult to get people to turn on Hassan Piker. Now, he has a very loyal fan base who I guess are into Hezbollah and shit and think that what they're up to is great. So I guess, anyone can find their audience. But the point that we didn't make is that Ethan Klein put out this content nuke that was going to be the final say and take Hassan out, and it backfired on Ethan Klein.
So badly.
Yeah.
So badly. So Hassan got into a bit of trouble about 5 days ago while he was live streaming on Twitch. So let's start there in my clip 1.
Okay. Yeah, this is Hassan's Twitch stream.
Correct.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
So that's kind of what sets the ball running right now. That is right. Hassan basically said to all of his audience that they should kill Senator Rick Scott. And it's generally not a good look to suggest that your entire audience kill somebody. But I would agree with you. Hassan is insane, and this is kind of on brand for him.
It is, but it's also wildly against the terms of service on Twitch.
Absolutely. So usually Twitch lets Hassan get away with figurative murder, but when he actually says it like verbatim, they can't ignore it anymore.
They have to do something.
I assume this is on the heels of Luigi Mangione.
Well, not necessarily. They're talking about Doge and how they're cleaning up all this Medicaid fraud, and they're finding all this stuff. And of course, Hassan is far left, so he's got to figure out a reason why getting government efficiency is a bad thing. It's ridiculous what these people do. So he's on there saying, well, no, the real problem is this senator who oversees Medicaid or Medicare, and he's the one who's corrupt, who's the problem, and we should put an end to that person if you really want to clean this shit up, which is misguided, and you can't tell people to murder political, the politicians and the people who represent us.
It's unspoken. You just think everyone thinks it. You don't say it out loud.
Now, Carl, you were bringing up a good point. Not only does Twitch banning Hassan mean that Hassan is potentially going to bring the audience elsewhere, but it also means that Twitch is losing a lot of revenue. So usually when Hassan goes crazy, Twitch kind of supports him. They also have a lot of liberal-leaning staff, so they sometimes side with him. And we have very much gotten to see Twitch kind of take a side here. So what they end up doing after Hassan tells all of his followers to murder somebody is that they give him a slap on the wrist with a massive one-day ban. One whole day. That is basically a spa day. He's having a vacation.
You don't
It's
stream
gonna
again
be
until
wonderful.
tomorrow, okay,
Yeah.
buddy?
Did they
Think about what you've done.
Did they piss on their hand before they slept?
Nope. I don't think so.
What jerks. Okay, so that brings us to just a couple of days ago now. And Ethan has a great idea in response to all of this in my clip too.
But we have set up 24-hour reruns of the content nuke. That's right, it's going to be running for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay. So this video that he put out that's got over 3 million views on YouTube, anyone who's going to see it has seen it. And like I said, it backfired on him. But because Hassan got this ban, he's like, oh, I'm going to take advantage of this.
Yes.
And run this. Okay.
Now it's the Christmas story of
Right,
H3,
yes.
H3.
And
wherever
not
I
only
start,
that-
I don't care, man. I can just start it wherever. And I'm in.
Not only that, but he's kind of doing it on purpose to test Twitch is kind of my take on what Ethan is doing right now. He is basically saying, listen, you can't have an issue with the content nuke because it's comprised of almost entirely of Hassan's unhinged Twitch streams, which Hassan never gets banned for. So if you just banned Hassan for only one day for this other thing, then there's no way that you can take my content nuke down. So I pulled a couple of clips from the content nuke just because I just felt like I needed to see Hassan going crazy. So that's clip 3.
What do you call Crimea? I call it a part of Russian territory, bitch. That's what I call Crimea. I call it Crimea River.
Don't they have Uyghur death camps? Is that?
It's not a death camp. They were re-education camps.
Hezbollah is a paramilitary organization.
Do we like them or no?
I don't have an issue with them. Let's just say.
Okay.
It's just great. It's just just really good
Pretty
stuff.
wild
That
stuff.
was
No,
kind
it's a re-education camp. When has that ever gone wrong?
They're pretty good at skydiving, I've heard. The fuck.
So this, again, that was basically what Ethan had ended up posting on Twitch.
Okay.
But yay for Twitch logic. Even though Hassan only got that 1-day ban, when Ethan replays the exact same crazy shit that Hassan is saying on their platform, he has a different experience, which we will see in clip 4.
Okay. Oh my God! It got banned for encouraging or glorifying extreme violence.
Whoa.
That's fucking
Wow.
That's Hassan's content that's on your platform that he didn't get in trouble for. Holy fuck.
Interesting.
Whoa! You guys don't believe me? Look at this.
Too.
30-day ban.
30 days?
30-day, and I didn't even say 30-day ban.
So this worked perfectly for Ethan Klein.
He was streaming yesterday, and he was just talking about this was literally the perfect thing because I was able to identify exactly how hypocritical Twitch was. Look at how great this is for me. He's ecstatic about what has happened.
Yes.
He was pissed off about it when it first happened because it is bullshit. Hassan gets 1 day, Ethan gets 30 days. And for encouraging or glorifying extreme violence, that's a serious ban.
Yes.
That's not nothing, you know?
Right.
So let's hear Ethan summarize it all in clip 5.
That me showing the content nuke on Twitch got me banned for 30 days for encouraging or glorifying extreme violence, for showing a clip of what Hassan does regularly on Twitch unpunished. Who, by the way, Hassan, who got banned for 1 day for saying kill a sitting elected official.
Okay, point made. Pretty good point made right there. I guess Twitch is going to have some splaining to do.
You know, I don't usually side with either Ethan or Hassan, but I got to be honest, Ethan is making some good points right here.
Yeah. He's exposing that obviously there's a double standard on Twitch for Hassan Piker's content.
And the internet goes bonkers over this.
Not the internet. That's not the internet I know. They're usually pretty cool,
even
calm,
keeled.
collected, even keeled.
So people are starting to identify this perceived hypocrisy, and tons of people take to Twitter. So in my clip 6, which is actually just a screenshot, we're going to look at a post on Twitter that reads, Ethan Klein gets a 30-day ban on Twitch for playing the Hassan content nuke. Seems like a lot of people need to be fired at Twitch.
Yes.
And I think that we all know someone who's been doing a really great job at layoffs these days, right? If you'll put up my screenshot number 7. That's right. It's our bud, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is in this thread.
100. Woo! Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Ethan Klein was literally on his podcast yesterday. He was thanking Elon Musk for the support, which is hilarious because
he
Ethan
hates
has
Elon Musk, right?
Yeah, he has a literal clothing line making fun and trying to murder Elon Musk. So,
yes, that's right. We were talking about that. It was the last day we could buy
so
the shirt. I missed it.
I'm also just imagining, like, the fact that Elon Musk is actually hearing about this. Now, he probably has a lot of motivation. Obviously, he might be interested in exposing Twitch's hypocrisy, but I would like to imagine that any time that anybody mentions mass layoffs, that like a Tesla-shaped bat signal is just going into the eyes of Elon Musk and he has to get involved somehow. So
Very
stupid.
possible.
So stupid.
I'm sorry, this Ethan Klein ban is also on Twitch? Or is this
Yes.
YouTube? Okay.
Also on
Everything
Twitch.
Okay.
Yes. So he's still on YouTube, and the end of the story is the ban has been revoked. But let's talk about how that happens. So Ethan ends up appealing the ban. He says, whoa, I should not have gotten banned. That doesn't make any sense. This is just somebody else's content, basically.
Content that has been approved and is up on Twitch currently.
Exactly.
Right.
And his first appeal gets denied.
Of course.
But then a day or so later, Ethan gets an email from the Twitch support, and I believe that is my number 8 here. Maybe. And it says, oh, no, it isn't, but it's fine. I'll tell you what it says. It says that we blocked you due to a mistake and that they reversed the suspension. Now, that is, Twitch obviously flip-flopping a huge amount So Ethan has a couple of theories about why the appeal was ultimately reversed. So that clip 8 there, we can see there he says 99, this is Ethan talking. He says 99.9% sure Hassan called Dan Clancy, who is the CEO of Twitch, and told him to unban me because they look cartoonishly evil and dumb. The appeal was denied, stating that a member of the team had thoroughly reviewed it. So which is it? 24/7 content nuke resumes tomorrow.
Yeah, the email actually is in this because it responded to that. It says, your account was suspended or blocked due to a mistake on our part. We have now reversed the suspension on your account, so you are free to use our services once again. That's a bullshit email right there. Oh, it was a mistake. It was a glitch. It was a mistake. Like, no.
And
I'm going to need a little more explanation than it was a mistake for a 30-day ban.
Not only that, you were talking earlier about a lot of social media websites will do automatic bans, or automatic. They'll do an algorithm review.
Algorithm will do it. Yeah, and then
Twitch does not do that. Twitch does not do that. They do every single review manually. So the fact that he got banned means that somebody actually looked at it and said banned and 30 days.
Right. So this Hassan guy reached out to them to look at it and ask them to ban it.
That's what Ethan is claiming. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Again, both of these guys are kind of into some crazy conspiracy theories. So how accurate is that? I don't know. But I will also say this. It would be equally likely for Ethan to have done that because this is working out really well for Ethan right now. Ethan's coming across great in this whole situation. This is a huge win for him. And the two of them have been battling so much that, how can he not want to win right now?
Right.
This seems like Twitch is a restaurant that is reserving the right to refuse service to Hassan and Ethan, but Ethan is just being a dick. It's like the cop cam video that Kaylee and Vinny watched on the Creep Off, where the guy, the big guy that's being a problem is actually not the person at fault, and it just turns into all this drama because you're being a bigger dickhead, and that Ethan is the bigger, seemingly the bigger.
Well,
I thought,
they're both
I thought you were going
behavior.
to see what I thought you were going with that. I thought you were going to say this is like a restaurant where Ethan Klein comes in and they're like, "Oh no, you can't have that water fountain, but we have one for you over here that you're allowed to use."
All right. Well, as long as we're talking about how dumb both of these guys are, my clip 12. I just pulled this because I thought that it was really funny. It's just a little bonus clip. It shows exactly how stupid Hassan is.
Yes, and Hassan Piker, of course, seems to know it all, especially when it comes to Middle Eastern politics. It's what he's known for.
Geography, he loves it.
Geopolitical,
very smart
Doesn't
guy.
know where Yemen is. Okay, I'm gonna click close. I'm closing it. I'm closing it.
He's trying to find Yemen on the map.
Nope.
He just hit Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Syria, Israel, Saudi Arabia.
Got it.
Nailed it.
You know what I think happened there, Lucy?
Oh, tell me.
Because when he hit like Saudi Arabia and stuff like that, like, he knows that that's not Yemen. I think he was trying to pretend like, oh, I'm just hitting all these things because it's funny. Because he fucked up the first one a couple times.
He hit Israel.
Yeah, he hit Israel.
Israel is his most hated thing in the whole world.
It's like a jazz solo.
Sounds like you're an expert, Hassan.
Oh my God, it's so stupid. Okay, so I want to talk about one other thing that I have not seen anybody talking about when it comes to Ethan Klein.
Okay.
And this might be a hot take, but I started noticing something. I really started researching these two at the beginning of this week. So I have been deep in both of their shit for way too long. And I am going crazy. I started noticing that I think that Ethan Klein might have a problem. And I know that you and Casey Day... Another kind of problem. So you and Casey Day did a lot of talking about how recently he has said that he has Tourette's and that is the cause of his cough. And he's doing all of these, like he has little tics and things like that. I noticed that he has been doing an awful lot of sniffling.
Yes.
An awful lot of sniffling.
Yes.
And so I got curious. And if you will just pull up my clip 9, which is another screenshot. This is going to be Ethan 9 months ago on the left and then Ethan now on the right.
Okay.
And it's pretty drastic. It's not a huge amount of difference, but I also pulled some clips from Ethan in the past and then Ethan now.
Well, what's the difference though? What are you seeing? I mean, obviously his facial hair is different.
I'm seeing, yeah. So he looks like he's lost quite a bit of weight. To me, his eyes look sunken in. You can even see
Tons
in
more
this-
hat on the right.
Yeah, way more hat. Again, not huge, but what we will see as we look at my clip 9 and clip 10 and 11. These are going to be Ethan in the past and then Ethan now. So first we'll check out clip 10,
friends.
which is going to be
Hello,
almost
view.
relaxing. This is, for me, this is like almost relaxing. He's sitting in one place. He's not making any weird twitches. He has a level tone. He's nice and calm. I think you might even kind of enjoy it.
Hello, friends. Hello, viewers. Hello, haters. Welcome all. It just like physically, I feel repulsed looking at it. It's just like, what is wrong with you? Didn't Martin Shore almost die from this? He had like a stroke. He was in a sauna suit. But that's just me. Here she's walking on the carpet. Let's see.
He's always been twitchy.
Yeah.
He's always had that thing.
Yeah, he always has had you guys were talking about the little hand thing that he does. He's always kind of done a little bit of that. But in general, I think that you will see compared to my clip 11, which is Ethan now, that he has like this current manic anxiety that is just a little too suspicious for me. So let's check that out and then we'll talk about it.
23, 25. It's a beautiful day. That's pretty big.
It's big time.
Is that with 2 G's or 1 G? I thought it was GG, like good game.
It's not. It's a good one.
One thing I'll also mention.
Dog shit. So the pill is going in.
But there's different conditions. Like there's one on the starting map where we are doing the Gabe, the wings are here. Gabe is ordering your
SAG award.
Jesus Christ. If I'm a casting director and you're playing cokehead, I'm like, it's too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like cokeheads aren't sniffing and touching their nose and tweaking that much, trying to eat their own faces that much.
He is bouncing around. His eyes are twitching. He's sniffling. He starts doing the nose wiping thing. I think I just included about 5 clips of nose wiping. That was with me randomly putting my cursor down on his videos.
Yeah, and then like Eric points out here, the jaw tooth grinding thing he's got going on.
When you replace mukbanging pizza with Trisha Paytas with snorting Coke and Adderall, this is what you get.
Now, I have read some studies, and I have discovered that the usage of cocaine on people who have Tourette's
it's great, right? It works out awesome.
It causes a severe exasperation of their symptoms.
I believe that.
So these Tourette's symptoms that he has been exhibiting more and more have been getting worse and worse. And I can think of one reason for that. I also noticed...
These are the opinions of Lucy Tightbox, by the way. I know this guy is very litigious. I just want to say, I think he's on meth. Okay, so Lucy, you can go with the coke angle and get sued all you want.
He was doing the nose sniffling thing a whole bunch, and I really honed in on that because he never used to do that in any of his older streams. That is absolutely a new tick. So again, I can kind of understand the coughing, the sniffling, those could be ticks from Tourette's. That little nose, and it's always the same nostril. He's like, it's very, very obvious to me. He got up in the middle of yesterday's episode of his show on H3H3 yesterday. And he got up in the middle of the episode to go to the bathroom. That's fine. You got to take a pee break at some point in a 3-hour-long episode. The whole beginning of the show, he had not been touching his nose. Oh, and then after he comes back from that break, he's sniffling more. He keeps touching his nose.
And he's got Rob Saul with him.
It's just too... And I don't know. Again, there's lots of other reasons that those things could be getting exasperated, but... Yeah. I'm laying my hat.
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Send me the link to that. I want to check that out.
I'll send you the timestamps because it is. Yeah. I tried to pull clips, but I literally was seeing it just before we were talking right now. So I was like, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
It's pretty bonkers.
Well, I want to show you this because Casey Day just sent this to me like an hour ago or something. The other thing that's going on with Ethan Klein, aside from the Hassan Piker Twitch banning thing, is, of course, Reddit is after him. And so he's very upset with what Reddit is doing and allowing these people...
Reddit's not being nice?
Yeah, he's very upset that Reddit is allowing these subreddits to organize the smear campaign against him. And so here are a couple of clips. This one is Ethan has decided he's going to sue the internet. He's talked to his attorney about it. Hold on.
Work.
There's
No.
the
People
answer
like
is not on social media. It's with lawyers and reporters.
my lawyer can't do fucking shit, and it's driving me crazy.
Oh, wait, pause.
They go, 2:30, you can't do anything.
Sorry, I'm sorry. This is from yesterday's episode.
This is yesterday's episode?
This is
Okay.
yesterday's episode, so we're going to have to pay attention for if this is sniffle time or if this is not sniffle time. I think that he's talking about this before he went to the bathroom, but I might remember that incorrectly.
Work.
There's
No.
the
People
answer
like
is not on social media. It's with lawyers and reporters.
my lawyer can't do fucking shit, and it's driving me crazy.
I don't know what to tell you.
They go, 2:30, you can't do anything. Really? I can't believe that. That a website just allows this level of harassment, and it's just like, 2:30, you can't fucking. That's just
2:30.
Section 230. They can't be held responsible for what their users post.
But
work.
There's
So he's actively trying to sue Reddit, or at least he wants to.
He's
he
out of
wants
his mind.
to do that.
They
Yeah.
also talked about a whole bunch in this episode. They got somebody called what is it, CPS on them for their kid because apparently Ethan Klein said that his kid was crawling around with dog poop and might be eating dog poop, and then his kid was sick, and he's all pissed off about that too.
You should not report that to your
No,
show.
no, don't say that your kid might have eaten dog poop.
Definitely don't report
To an
that.
audience full of people who hate you.
Yes, that's really stupid. All right, then he sent me this link too. He called it Ethan Klein will burn down Reddit.
I'll go there and do a show in front of their fucking office. I'll do what I have to do. I will go and I will fucking stay there as long as I need to, and I will do the show in front of Reddit headquarters and dedicate every fucking episode to destroying every executive officer there and dragging them to fucking hell. I will drag these people into hell with me. That's what I'm saying I'll do. Go through every fucking detail of this dude's life.
Wow.
Big sniff at the end.
He's got a lot of CEOs he wants to take down.
In a
Holy
manic
shit.
rant, I swear to God, he's doing something. He's doing something.
He's not having fun. I think that's the thing. That's the takeaway from all of this. You get on the internet, you start doing a show because it's fun. People start participating in it. You're having a good time with your pals. When you get to that stage, if I ever get to I'm going to take down every person who works at this website, I'm going to ruin their lives, and I'm going to sue them. And if I get to that point, guys, please just tell me I need a break. Time
We're
out.
experiencing technical difficulties.
Because really, guys, why are we here? We are here because we love Lisa Boswell.
Lisa and Helga, these girls ain't fellas. Lisa and Helga.
I was checking out that reality show from May 10th, 2023. So this is an older episode. They have a different camera angle. You can see Lisa better in this angle. So I was enjoying that already. And Lisa talks about there was a guy who wants to be her friend. And it's not that easy just to be Lisa's friend, you'll find out.
There was a guy. There was a guy yesterday. He kept saying to me, "Oh, I really want to be your friend. I really want to be your friend." And I was going, "Shit. I don't have any spots left for anyone.
Well,
for anyone."
that's because the server, this Facebook server can't handle it. Yeah, they can't keep track of anything more than 5,000.
You know, if somebody could get like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000, then I'd have them, because I really know that many people. I know people all over the world.
There's also
Lisa's bragging that she has 10,000 friends. I believe it. Lisa's awesome. But that's a pretty impressive number, I would say.
I'm really into this camera angle. Lisa
Me
looks
too.
great, and this is the worst camera angle ever for Helga.
It is. It's so bad. And what's crazy about this is that it's just off to the side, but you can see they have like an old-fashioned radio behind them, and there's a reflection coming off the glass of it that is what they're staring at, which is themselves. And they can't take their eyes off themselves. The entire show, we knew this before, but this angle is just really drives it home. They
I'm on
love
TV.
staring at themselves. So now you just heard that. She's already reached the 5,000 limit of friends you can have on Facebook. So there's a guy on there who's like, sends a friend request, and she's like, sorry, bud. I have too many friends as it is. I can't have you as a friend. But then it turns out this guy might like Trump. So this is a problem.
But anyway, this guy kept saying, "Oh, I want to be your friend. I want to be your friend. I want to be your friend." And then he goes, I had to write down, I had to report on the Donald Trump thing. I wrote down what he had to do. He said, fake news, fake news. Here's a guy asking me if he can get on my page. He's sitting there downgrading women.
And he's talking about Donald Trump's anything
Guess
bad
what I
about
did?
Donald Trump's Facebook.
Block, block, block.
Yeah.
So I had to grab that as an ISO. We got to get this on the board.
Block, block, block.
Fantastic. Lisa really is a human soundboard, especially in this episode. There's a lot of ISOs that I'm going to play. And I don't normally play the Helga Man stuff because I find Helga extremely boring. Helga in this episode rambles on and on and on about shit that no one could possibly care about. But she does have this hot political take that did not age well.
And I thought, if Biden decided not to run, Kamala would be the very, very good candidate. I mean, it was a match made in heaven, those two together, because Kamala's dedicated, she's smart,
she's a good
she
prosecutor.
don't take shit from nobody.
Maybe you guys should stop talking about politics. Maybe that's not really the realm for you. It seems like you don't have a lot
Leave it to Stuttering John.
Yeah, you have a lot of expertise in this. Kamala and Biden were a match made in heaven, according to these two dimwits. Okay, sounds good. So then it's Wake and Bake Wednesday, which is Lisa's favorite day of the week. I mean, she wakes and bakes every day, but, the Wake Wednesday. And so she takes a giant hit and starts coughing. Very feminine. Very ladylike.
You don't cough, you don't get off.
Okay.
Can you imagine being in your 60s or 70s or whatever, and you're still trying to take as big a hit as possible? It's like, can you just mellow out, just eat a gummy at a certain point? You would think. Here's one of my favorite ISOs of all time.
You're a fucking idiot.
Well said. All right, so Lucy.
Yes.
I'm glad you're here because Lisa has a question for you.
Oh, boy.
I said, what's wrong with you, bitch?
I like that ISO too.
Yeah.
Why do I feel so seen?
Well, she
Even
follows
Lisa
up.
knows.
She follows up, Lucy.
She is the C word, though. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
All right. I don't think that was about you, actually.
Oh.
She didn't know who you were yet. Now, Helga, like I said, goes off on this long, rambling story. She's like Grandpa Simpson. And she's talking about the military, and she's throwing out people's names and things that were happening. And Lisa, thank God, cuts her off.
We go around and do a clock round. We check the locks on the bunkers. And
long?
But
Is this going to be long?
No. I just come back to that duty. It was
The other dynamic that's happening on all of these shows that I love is that Lisa has been up for 8 hours at this point. It's like 8 in the morning. And she goes to bed at 6 p.m. and gets up at midnight or something. And she just wants to go to get food. She's starving. And she's high, and she got the munchies. And as Helga's going on, she's like, can we just go to brunch now, please? That's all I want to do. And Helga is not hungry, doesn't care, just wants to talk and tell her stories. Well, then Lisa starts staring at herself, as she's been doing this entire episode, and starts complaining about her dye job. She's staring at herself in the monitor and is not happy with the color of her hair.
Is my hair orange, Helga?
No.
Yes, it is.
It's perception. I see a beautiful platinum blonde there. In fact, it's pretty brassy.
It's not platinum.
It's brassy. You just don't like it being that brassy.
I wanted it honey.
You wanted a deeper.
I'm not gonna say anything about Kayla because I love her.
You wanted a deeper color. Well, remember, she was coloring gray, so she wasn't sure what color it was going to come out. It was going to come out some kind of blonde. But because you have a gray base to work from, it's going to be lighter. She's going to have to work she's going to have to highlight that with a light brown to get the color you want. She's going to have to highlight.
Huh?
Yeah, all she has to do is put some light brown highlights in there, and it'll take on a honey blonde color.
Okay.
Because when you're dyeing gray, everything's lighter.
What kind of hair dryer is she going to use?
The man in a wig.
Helga is the last person I'm taking hair advice from.
I just love and the visual here is astounding because Lisa's staring into her own soul. She's mesmerized by what she sees. She's talking about colors and shit. Maybe she took the brown acid or something.
Still a better story that I got when I was on that show where Helga told me how they poured the foundation of the garage next to the room that they're broadcasting from. At least Lisa was actively bleeding from the leg during the story. It was the only thing that made it interesting.
There's nothing that can happen to Helga Mann that she won't report on.
Yeah,
on the show. Nothing is too boring. Lisa, before they end the show, does have one last thought about Donald Trump. A lot of Donald Trump talk. They were very celebratory because this happened right after he was convicted of those 34 felonies in New York City. So they're really excited about that.
We cover for him.
Today is
You son of a bitch.
I can't wait till his business policies.
He is such an asshole, he goes.
And then she goes off. I don't know where she goes to after that. One more clip I have on here, and this is classic Lisa. Always threatening violence, always wants to beat people up.
I don't fight girls. Do you understand that? Not at all. Give me a big man, and I'll beat the shit out of him. But not a woman.
That's good. That's good of you, Lisa. I'm glad that's where you draw the line. So
Did you see? Look at her knuckle on her forefinger there. I mean, we know how big Helga's hands are.
Yes.
Look at that knuckle. Bring that up.
Yeah.
Zoom in on that.
I thought she had a cigar.
That's one finger?
That might be arthritis or something, right? I wouldn't want that coming quickly towards my face.
Or ass.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That would be worse. You got me there. Oh, I'm zooming in the wrong place. I'm zooming in on my monitor of it instead of the actual show. I'm an idiot.
That's freakish.
That's a toe finger.
Yeah, that's
the
big
freakiest
toe.
thing about her, Chris.
Right. That's freakish.
All right. We got a report on this fucking dummy.
Ba, 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 ba.
I was listening to El Horrible this morning, and he was talking about how Anthony getting the job for WABC is the best thing to happen to Opie's career since Westwood One hired him after Sirius. Like, he's getting so much juice now. Everyone's checking in on what Opie has to say and his take on these things. And, of course, the chat is nonstop bringing up Anthony. And so it's been a lot of fun. Stalin 19 put this clip together for us, and it starts off with someone saying, "All right, Opie, let's go. Let's talk Anthony. We know you know why we're all here."
AB normal. Let's talk about Anthony. Let's go. What are we waiting for? I don't really do that unless you guys push me and you push me and you push me, and then I give my 2 cents.
He has to be pushed really hard to talk about Anthony, as we know. Usually a single free chat is what it takes.
Right.
This whole thing, Opie's pretending to take the high road. Just stop pretending. You're not taking the high road. You talk about Anthony, you pull clips of it and put it on your channel. All the clippers take the clips and put them on their channels. We all see it all the time. My advice, and a lot of people give advice to Opie. I have an example of that. My advice is to just go full Chad Zumach and just start a show bashing Anthony. That's what people want to see. That's what Opie likes to do. It makes perfect sense. I'll even give him a name for the show. He can call it Ant Fucking. Maybe there's something better. The point is, why wouldn't Opie just do a show fucking with Anthony? It's the only time since we started covering him that he's been getting juice outside of WATP. From what I've seen, like people are all talking about Opie right now.
Yeah, and then you could legit put his name on the thumbnails.
Right.
You have a reason for it.
Right.
Yes.
And nobody's asking for it to be good either, because we know it.
No
won't.
one expects it to be.
No, we know it won't be, but people will repurpose it for their own yucks,
We
and
want it to be trash.
they'll be tuning in for sure. So why not?
No. Instead, this idiot has to say, I didn't want to talk about Anthony. You just heard him say he doesn't want to talk about Anthony. And then it turns out he does have things to say.
I don't feel like talking about Anthony. You know, he's making this giant, huge comeback to AM radio on the weekends, doing 2 hours a week. That's massive news. There's no way he's even going to make $500 a week doing that. There's no way.
It's not about the money. I can't stress this enough. Opie's nonstop. Ever since he heard one of his chatters say Anthony says he's making $300,000, which he didn't, which was made up by a guy who was fucking with Opie, that then Opie repeated over and over and over again to make that the narrative. And now he's going, oh my gosh, it's just Sunday nights. He's probably not even getting paid that much money. Yeah, Anthony has said he doesn't care about the money. It's not the point of doing this at all. He's wealthy. He's doing fine. He has a revenue stream. I'm like, Opie, he is the co-owner of a company that has subscribers. So he has a very consistent revenue stream coming in.
That might be a way to draw a new audience to something that does make money.
Yeah.
I just love that we get to full on watch jealousy happening. Like, there's nothing more enchanting than watching jealousy. And that is exactly why that show would work. Because you would just get to watch Opie freak the fuck out all the time.
It's jealousy. It's coping. And he tries to couch it as, I don't even care what he's doing, man. That was 11 years ago we did a show together. It's like, it's eating him up. It's as soon as someone brings up his name, as soon as he sees the name Anthony, he has so many thoughts rattling around in his head, he can't help but spit them all out.
I imagine that, like when people do affirmations in the mirror when they wake up, they're like, you're beautiful and you're going to be great. I imagine that he gets up, looks in the mirror, and he goes, Opie came first in Opie and Anthony. Opie was first. My name was first.
Opie
like that's,
discovered
and that's
Jim
the only
Norton.
way.
Opie discovered Anthony Cubia. Opie, Well, now he's really stretching things to say this.
It's not much more impressive than what I'm doing. Trust me.
That's the what a
So Opie is trying to say that Anthony getting a job for WABC is very similar to what Opie does, streaming to a few dozen people every morning from his apartment. It's not that much different. Oh, it's not even in the same ballpark. What you're doing, anyone can do, and they do, and more successful than you do.
And have more listeners.
Right. And I'm not saying that the Sunday night time slot's a good time slot. It's the worst time slot in radio. I know, because most of the times that I've been on local radio, it's Sunday nights. That's when they put all the local music shows on.
Yeah.
They all compete with each other on all the FM channels. It's always Sunday night. But WABC, which I've said, highest rated AM station in the largest radio market in the United States, is leaps and bounds from what Opie is doing, embarrassing himself on a daily basis from his apartment. And so Opie's so upset. Now he has to start name calling and making shit up.
What bothered me this week was Anthony thinking Sunday radio was a good decision. It might be a good decision for him, but Anthony's not a smart guy. You know, he plays smart, but he's actually not smart at all. And
I got to pause it right there, because to say that Anthony's not smart is, no one's going to go along with this. I've seen Anthony sit down with Neil deGrasse Tyson and have an hour and a half long conversation with the guy. And Anthony knows a lot of things. He knows a lot about a lot. He's a very intelligent, thoughtful guy. Opie's a fucking moron who doesn't know anything about anything. He couldn't have an hour and a half conversation with anyone except unless they're like drinking buddies.
Yeah.
And he's talking to Carl Ruiz about the chick who just walked by or the homeless person outside of the window.
He still sounds like an idiot.
Right. So the fact that he's now saying that, oh, yeah, Anthony is an idiot, and that's why he took this job.
He made the mistake to make it a really, really big deal that he's coming back to radio.
So Opie is saying that Anthony made a mistake by playing up the fact that he's got a job on WABC. But this proves that Opie is stupid because it's actually the best thing you can do. This is a story that in my world is blown up. Like a lot of people are talking about Anthony going back to WABC because he was a guy who was shunned from mainstream and would never get a job on the radio ever again. I mean, his first book was called Permanently Suspended. It was no one thought this was possible a few years ago, that Anthony would get hired by WABC in New York. And so he did, and it's not a great time slot. And he did play it up, and everyone's talking about it, which is great for Anthony because Anthony is selling a product.
Yeah, why wouldn't you promote it?
Compound censored. Wow, what's Anthony doing? Oh, he's doing a show? Oh, it's every Monday through Thursday, 4:30 to 6. I can go.
They're going to check it out.
Sign up and check it out. He's on the radio now. And Opie pretends that this is actually a bad thing, that he promoted this, and then it makes him look bad. And he uses this word that I think is very childish.
And then he had to admit that they're pretty much throwing him on on a Sunday night for 2 hours. You probably should have downplayed your return to radio. But he's not smart. He really isn't a smart guy.
Good one, Opie. Opie's got nothing on this too. He just laughs.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a take. He's just like, oh, he's dumb. He was so dumb, man.
He's also ugly.
Oh, man, it's so dumb and ugly. Now, he used the word admit. And I really keyed in on this. He goes, man, that was so stupid, Anthony, because eventually he had to admit he's working the Sunday night shift. Admit. Yeah. Promote.
Right.
Yeah.
Anthony came out and said, hey, guys, if you want to listen to my show, I'm 8 to 10 on Sunday nights. And he said, and I'm hoping that I do a good job and I get an afternoon time slot. And we'll see if that happens. I'd bet on Anthony on this one.
Yeah.
He has a pretty good track record when it comes to broadcasting.
Oh, it wasn't a confessional?
That's what I mean. It's like, and then he had to come out and admit that it's like.
Yeah, he was forced to do it. He was very upfront about everything he was doing.
Yes, right. And so Opie's so stupid, he thinks that Anthony played his cards wrong for some reason, when it's just the opposite. In fact, if Anthony had come out and just been like, I got this crappy gig, it's Sunday nights, it wouldn't have gotten as much conversation going. No. He played this perfect. Yeah. Instead, he touted WBC, and he was on the morning show 2 mornings in a row, and they talked about it with the host, and they made a big deal about it. Like, that's the play.
Yes.
So I mean, stupid.
Who is agreeing which one is stupider? The guy that managed to find another job in radio, or the guy that is going live on Facebook who can't seem to figure out lighting, can't seem to figure out an angle that is flattering in any single way, can't figure out how to snipe stream a show that an idea is a complete no-brainer of him sniping Anthony's show.
Yeah.
He can't even figure out,
And don't
Facebook.
forget, Opie constantly was begging to be back on radio up until all of this. I mean, that was his ultimate goal. All he wanted to do was be back on radio. Carl, you've brought up like 1,000 times the fact that he cleans up all of the language. Whenever he was in Gebhardt's, he would be like, oh, no, don't say those words, because he thinks he's still on radio. That's his dream, is to be back on radio.
Him and Aaron Imholt both do this thing where they consistently go on at a very early hour in the morning and do their show. And it's to show the radio execs that they're dependable and they can still do it. See, guys, I could be your morning jock. I'm doing that right now. And you're right, Lucy. Opie made a conscious decision about a year ago to clean up the language and not swear and make everything he does on YouTube radio friendly. And he yells at his guests if they don't do that.
You know what you just made me realize? If I was working at a radio station and I was trying to find somebody who was a dependable new morning radio guy, the last guy that I would want would be the dependable YouTube guy, because clearly Aaron and Opie have already built such vast, wonderful communities in those time slots. They would never want to give it up to be on radio.
Yeah, you have to be a miserable failure to want to go to the radio if you've been doing this for years on the internet.
But in Opie's mind, he's like, oh my God, it's such a success. So many people are listening to me. Why would he trade that for a radio show? Like, I wouldn't even approach him according to Opie's narrative.
Right.
That's a good point.
And Opie never brings up that he's going to continue doing, Ant's going to continue doing his show in addition to the radio show.
Yeah.
He makes it sound like he is trading it, and it's not.
And he's not making any money doing it. It's like, that doesn't matter at all. Eric Nagel's in the chat. He says, for someone who would tout that he was the guy who put the pieces together and planning things out, he has zero capability for seeing things down the line, the potential, possibilities. He doesn't want to see them. Yeah, and Missy B's in the chat too. Anthony didn't have to give up or trade in his show. Right. Yeah. Exactly the point that you guys just made. It's like, no, he gets to cross promote now.
And Anthony has found a way to evolve with the medium. Like, it's gone from celestial radio to satellite radio to on the internet to having YouTube and all these other, Rumble ways to get your product out there. And now Aaron and Opie are just like ringing your doorbell saying, hey, I'm still bringing you milk. Remember Milkmen?
Right.
This thing that we don't need anymore? I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
Why? Just figure out the new fucking thing.
And Opie actually does talk about in this episode how he is trying new things and trying to figure out the next thing. What are we going to say, Lucy?
I was just going to say that's exactly why Anthony did it so correctly, because he didn't have to give up or trade his show. But if Opie did it, he would, because he's in that time slot. Like,
right.
Never mind.
Yes, no, you're right.
I'm angry about it.
Opie says something right here that is a blatant lie.
I'm right where I want to be in life, if you want to know the truth. So no, it doesn't bother me, whatever you were going to say next. And I'm sure it was something shitty.
Opie is right where he wants to be. How many clips have we played on this show in the past couple of weeks where he said, I wish I had more viewers. I wish I was making more money doing this. He keeps throwing shit at the wall. He keeps trying new channels and new content. Don't even get me started on his TikTok. I mean, we covered this on Who Are These Socials. It's so retarded.
He has that tell, if you want to know the truth.
If you want to know, I'm actually really
Let me put it this way.
His hair's all disheveled. He's like, I'm obviously doing very well up here, guys.
Just because you're in a penthouse apartment with a house in the Hamptons. I mean, if Citizen Kane taught us anything, it's that financial success like that doesn't equate to happiness.
No.
You're clearly not happy.
No, you know what equates to happiness is achievement.
Right.
When you actually accomplish things and you create things, that will give you a sense of purpose, which leads to contentment and happiness. And Opie has none of those things for years now, and it's driving him fucking insane. And the fact that he's going to lie to himself and to us and say he's happy is ridiculous.
All right, Richulo. Since being fired, Anthony has done nothing but write 2 books, run a podcast platform for 10 years, and go back to radio. He should try harassing hardworking people for a podcast. All right, you paid $9 for that? You're defending Anthony? He didn't write 2 books. First of all, he barely put pen to paper.
Okay, if you want to get real technical about Johnny Russo, I mean, there are 2 books. They're right there behind me. I see them right there along with Jim Norton's books. So, yes, he did.
It's like saying, I read a book. Well, I listened to the audiobook.
I
guess I didn't really read it.
Whatever. We got it. We get the gist of it. He put out 2 books.
He talked into his notes app. He didn't write it.
And what did Opie accomplish in that same time? He successfully moved his car out of the way of the street sweeper. And then got his spot back again.
That's something.
Nice.
That is basically what we can surmise of Opie's accomplishments at the same time.
You said this about Patrick Michael before, and probably a lot of the lolcows that we target. Opie gets mad and he just starts swinging like a little kid. He first goes, you paid $9 for that? And Anthony didn't write 2 books. He just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Don't put the chat on, you idiot.
Well, yeah, right. The crazy thing about this, the reason why Opie is getting mad is he has to downplay what Anthony's accomplished because he's done nothing.
Right. And he's terrible at it.
If Opie had gone on to be successful on Sirius and build this afternoon show that they gave him and maybe parlay that into a podcast and keep that thing rolling, he wouldn't be talking about Anthony's books or Compound Media and the network that Anthony built and all the shows that he discovered and brought on Compound. He wouldn't have to talk about any of that.
He'd be active and he'd be happier.
Right. The fact that he has to try to downplay what Anthony's done is so disingenuous. It just shows you that he knows that he's insecure about what he's done.
Supposedly, the word got out he was going to make $300,000 a year. I don't know if he started. I have no idea who started it, but we all knew that was a joke. Doing 2 hours a week on AM radio. I swear to you, I'd be surprised if they're giving him more than $200 a week.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's making a lot of money owning a company. He's not worried about that. He wants to get on radio again. He's hoping to get syndicated, be in a ton of markets and talk to a lot of people about politics. That's the goal. And Opie either refuses to acknowledge that fact or is so hung up on money because he hasn't made money in so long. That's the only way he can think. Yeah. I think it's probably the latter. Opie's just like, oh my gosh, why would you take a job unless it pays you X amount of dollars? It's like, well, no, Opie, there's a longer term idea here of what we're going to accomplish by doing that. Also, he goes, $300,000. Everyone knew that was a joke. I don't know where that came from. It was one of your chatters, and then you repeated it over and over and over again because Anthony never said that. Now, this next clip right here, we have been documenting Opie is Stuttering John. Adam Bush keeps pointing this out, that aside from the alcoholism, they're the same guy, and the wealth, they're the same guy. And we're going to see a perfect example of that here, one that I've never seen Opie do before.
I think I'm muted, but just in case I'm not Anthony, I'm not. Oh, I think I'm muted, but just in case I'm not. You need punctuation, dude. Because your comment makes it sound like you're trying to say you're not Anthony. I'll fix it for you. I think I'm muted, but just in case I'm not, comma, Anthony rules. Whatever makes you sleep better at night, brother man. But let's not get overly excited by his 2 hours a week on AM radio on a Sunday night. Oh my God, did he blow that one? Of course he blew it.
Correcting grammar.
Yeah. And another parallel is they both have terrible fake laughter.
Yes, they both laugh
you
at
can
themselves.
tell when they're pissed.
Right. You can tell that they're actually upset about what they're doing. But the fact that he had to go through that and just go, oh my gosh, you don't even understand how to write that sentence that's insulting to me. Let me explain it to you.
So let me drag it out further.
Right.
Did you notice there? He's controlling the chat, right? Obviously, he's putting the comments up.
Of course.
He went from one question about Anthony to skipping past the question about when are you going to do your bar stream show? Like, when are you going to do something other than sit in your own house? Right to the next clip or the question that had Anthony's name in it. So he's just skipping past the things that require something of him and jumping to these talking points.
Right. And he always starts out by saying, I'm not doing this today, guys. I don't want to talk about Anthony today.
Yeah.
And then it's every chat he brings up, there's other chats in there. He has other choices. Or
so
don't bring up the chat at all.
Yeah. So he's making these choices.
Correct.
He could talk about when he's doing this bar stream. Nobody's going to watch
This
that.
was my point. The first clip we played is that he's pretending to take the high road while actively not taking the high road.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to have it both ways. And it's so obvious. And he's going, everyone's making this big deal about this stupid slot Anthony has. Actually, no. We're making a way bigger deal about your cope. I mean, I probably won't hear Anthony's show. I don't live in New York. I don't know if I'll download the app or not. But I'm more excited about Opie's coping with this than Anthony got this job because it's eating him up inside. And I'm loving it. And you know who else is enjoying it is our potato friend. What's up, Cardiff?
I was not enjoying it.
Oh. Yeah, I forgot you're friends with Opie, right?
Love Opie. It's the best.
You guys go way back. Well, you came on just in time because this is where Opie starts talking about me and maybe even you, Cardiff.
I don't care. Supposedly another live streamer just won't shut up about me. Oh, really? Nothing impressive. It's so funny because like some of these low-level live streamers, they're doing better than me, but they'll never come close to the success I have. And eventually the little low level success they're having in the live streaming world, the low level, that's going to go away. And then in the end, what did you do? You did nothing.
Opie, ever hear the term, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey? The fact that Opie is still resting on
Aerosmith quoted that.
I believe so. The fact that he's still resting on the fact that I made millions of dollars, therefore I'm better than you. Yeah, but we're all enjoying our lives. So therefore, careful what you wish for, right? And this is a guy who got everything he ever wanted and he's miserable. It did not work out for him to the point where he's calling out, I'm sure that's pointed at me. Am I being myopic on this one?
As soon as he says low level, I think of this show.
Yeah. Low level live streamers who are doing better than me. And I go, I think he's talking about me. No.
You're literally broadcasting from a lower level than him.
That's true.
Much lower, yes. 500 plus feet lower than what he's doing.
It does sound like he's saying lol level, though.
If only, yes, he could create a whole new category. Then he says, eventually it'll go away. Live streaming will? It's the current thing, everyone. What do you mean?
It will not.
Yeah, what is he talking about? Yeah, and then eventually it'll go away. Why? Because your job went away? I don't feel people shitting, so I think I'm going to be okay for a while. It works out really well for me. All right. Yeah, E-Rock is in here. He's getting fired up too, all caps. You are a low-level live streamer, yes. It's too fun. We're having too much fun over here. Oh, this is Opie giving advice. This is great.
And Anthony should have said, they're thinking of getting me involved a little bit here at ABC, but he made it sound like, oh my God, we need this genius on WABC. So then his fan base just chomp, ate it all up. Like, oh my God, Anthony's making a huge return to radio. What shift is he going to have? Is he going to bring back the glory days of Opie and Anthony? How much money is he going to make? He did all that.
Did he?
Nope.
He got everyone talking. That's for sure. In Opie's mind, he's like, he probably shouldn't even told anyone he got the job. He should just kept it on the DL and not even announced it.
Because there's no in between.
What an idiot.
Anthony couldn't have announced it more humbly.
Yes.
But there's no in between for Opie.
Anthony never bragged about making a lot of money. He never said that he was taking over on the morning show or he was going to have a great time slot. He just said, I got hired by WABC. I'm going to be on the air again in New York City.
Yeah.
The arrogance.
Something comes of it.
The arrogance.
The arrogance,
right.
to announce something like that.
How dare he?
All right. So Tim Sabian apparently called Opie the day before this. And this is from yesterday. So I guess the day before yesterday, Tim Sabian called up. And Tim had some advice for the Opster. Now, Tim Sabian was running the Opie and Anthony show for some time, and then he left satellite radio, and then he went to Westwood One, where he hired Opie to do Opie radio for Westwood One. The worst hire Tim Sabian's ever made. It did not work out well for anyone involved. But him and Tim are still close.
He had the number one podcast for a week.
Number two, yes, for a week when it first came out.
And then Gary Busey was like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, that was a great episode. That was one of the few where Opie was actually in his stupid studio talking to a guest. It was a cubicle, but it was the best they could do for him over there. So Tim's giving him some advice.
He's like, oh, why aren't you? He's like, why aren't you in a proper studio? Maybe at a comedy club, talking to all the comedians that are going to be performing that night or that weekend. And I told Tim, I'm like, you're not wrong, Tim. But I also feel like I did it, and I'm trying to figure out something new and different for myself. I go, I love doing the Get Thoughts. I'm trying to develop that a little more into something, but I don't want to be in a studio anymore doing what I did for so many years and did it well. So it would be a bit of a drop off because I can't capture that magic again. That was crazy.
Get confident, stupid.
So right there, Opie's admitting that he can't actually do a real broadcasting job because it won't go well.
We know.
But at the same time, he's going, Tim's telling me I should go. And that's an interesting idea. Go to the comedy club, talk to the comics before they go on and maybe watch their set and review it or something on your show. Whatever. You do something like that. And Opie's thoughts is, I'm not going to change anything I'm doing now, even though nothing is working.
No.
He's a miserable failure doing
No,
this.
he's so happy.
That's
Did you
right,
see
forgot.
how happy he was?
Forgot how he's enjoying himself so much.
It's worse than that. He said it would be a big drop off to do something like that from where he's been. But
right,
wouldn't it be better than what he's doing now? Wouldn't it be less of a big drop off?
Anything would be better than what he's doing now.
You guys keep forgetting how happy he is.
I do, because I'm not seeing it.
Thanks for
He's got to
reminding us.
remind me. He's got to remind me more often.
I think that's what Opie needs is Lucy Tightbox on his show, just reminding everyone how happy he is.
No, I'll pass. Thank you, though.
Lucy, you've never said no to a podcast.
I know. That would be my time.
That is a low blow to Opie.
Wow. I'm sorry, Opie. I'm on the Backyard Boys that day, so I can't.
I'm with Neil Gaiman.
I wish. Come
I
on.
go, I just don't want to do it that way. He goes, but I swear, look, clip it. I don't give a crap, but this is exactly what Tim Sabian said. He goes, but you're the best at it. You're the best at it. I go, I know, Tim, but I did it already. You know, if I can figure out like how to make my windowsill show a little better or my live at Get Bots a little better, I'd be a happy boy. And to make a few extra bucks.
Oh, all the stuff that you've been talking about, how you want your shows to be better. Do you want to make more money, but you don't want to like take good advice? That was hysterical, though. He goes, Tim told me, Opie, you're the best at it. I go, I know. Which is it, Opie? Do you have zero confidence that you can pull this off? Or do you agree with Tim that you're the best at this, but you just want to continue to do this show, this low-level show, this lazy. By the way, I got to bring this up. We talked about on the show that Opie had a meeting with a guy who used to work for Anthony, and he didn't want to say who it was. And
The soda drinker.
I asked E-Rock, and E-Rock's like, I know, but I don't want to say who it is. The guy who it is friendly with the show. I've talked to him many times. He still watches. He reached out to me. He goes, that was me. So I know who it was who met with Opie. And he actually shared with me the notes that he gave to Opie and the suggestions that he had, which is really interesting because he's got Opie Unleashed. Start a new YouTube channel just for non-talk content. Put the long form and short form clips there. Also stream posts to Instagram/TikTok. So it seems like he does take advice sometimes from these people who are trying to help him out.
Are there any other ideas in there?
So it's not Opie's fault, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would take advice from this guy, but he's good at what he does.
Does it say walk aimlessly around?
Yes. All right. So yeah, the reason why Tim is talking to Opie is because I don't know what Tim is up to these days. He's been a high-level executive at a number of media companies. I think he's just floating around.
The reason why Tim calls me from time to time, he's trying to get something together, and he absolutely wants to bring me on board. But I keep telling him, I'm like, Tim, you throw me in a studio to rot, I'm not going to like you. And if you get this thing you're working on up and running, he's waiting for funding, supposedly. It's got to be different. Maybe you could build out the basement of Gepfots or something, make it different, and then I'll be interested.
So Opie's idea is, will you make my show in the basement of the bar I like to hang out at more professional looking? Tim's like, no, that's not what we're doing here at all, sir. Just trying to give you advice on like how to do an actual show.
Is it his problem that at one point his career, he didn't have to do anything that he's kind of being asked to do now, which is assemble a show? He had producers, he had people turning on the studio, engineers and all that. And all he really did is show up and shoot the shit with people he had no business shooting the shit with. And he's like, well, I can't go back to not doing anything other than just showing up.
He's a lazy man. Another Stuttering John parallel where he won't do prep. He makes fun of our show format because he says anyone could do that. That's easy. Just pull clips and then respond to the clips. He goes, it's harder to like have things to talk about and to come on and have opinions about things. And then Opie comes on and just reads the chat. That's his only show format, is just reading the chat.
It's taking calls.
Right. Which is this equivalent of like taking calls like he used to do back in the day. But, E-Rock is here. E-Rock is here, and he'll tell you, those guys used to do so much prep for the Opie and Anthony show, and they would be there early getting all this stuff together, and Opie would never bother reading any of it or going over it. God forbid he'd watch the movie that starred the person who was going to be the guest on the show that day so he could have some questions or a conversation with them.
It's a lot of asks of Opie at this stage in his career to be like, the only thing that I'll do is let everybody do everything for me, but also there has to be a couple $100,000 in it for me.
Right.
What the fuck are you thinking?
Well, here is an example. And I actually, there was a guy who was in our chat who said he used to work for Opie. So I said, oh, email me. I'd love to have you on the show or something. He did email me. He doesn't want to come on the show, but he told me some details about working for Opie and the direction Opie was giving him and what he wanted to do and stuff. So I know that Opie has guys who are helping with the channel and put these clips up and stuff. Look at this latest clip. This is what Opie is putting on his channel right now. This is a 16-second clip that he put up as its own video.
Oh, the fear of being outside. That sucks. I obviously have the fear of success.
That's a video called Opie Explains Why He's No Longer Successful. Opie
I
Radio
hate
Podcast.
it.
You didn't think that was a good one?
No, I hate it so much.
Well, you're going to love this. The
Oh,
other
no.
thing that Opie is doing, because he is throwing everything at the wall right now, and I love that about him. He's picking the perfect opportunity. Stuttering John goes away. Opie goes, I'm going to put out 4 times as much content. Like, great, thank you. So, of course, he's doing the Unleashed. He's doing his TikTok stuff. He's doing the morning streams. He's doing Gebhard's. But he's also going back and finding old clips with Carl Ruiz and repurposing those. And so this clip just came out on his channel as well.
We're at La Cubana, Carl's new restaurant, where Carl has been since I saw him 12 hours ago.
I have the same stories with this guy. I came in for a rare day in New York City because in the summer I just chill out at the beach. I came to La Cubana, just like you said, but I found him passed out in booth 78. Yeah. So I was in 78. 78 passed out, and they were checking his pulse. I'm like, oh, that's good. Carl's rated podcast.
Restaurant tour. Oh, that's how I found him today.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying. That's why I brought it up.
I don't remember his name, but dude over there in the white shirt. I was like, hey, I'm Matt. Is Carl around? He's like, oh, I'll look for him. I was like, oh, if he's busy, don't worry about it. He goes, we have different definitions of busy. And he leads me over here, and Carl's asleep on the couch. And he's like, hey, buddy, your friend Matt's here.
And what does it say about us, Matt, that we both love this guy?
Oh my God.
Me and you had the issues, not him.
Oh, my God. It was
What I find odd about this clip is how unnoteworthy it is, first and foremost, but also Carl Ruiz, not long after this, died in his sleep. He was an unhealthy guy. He was like 42 years old, and he just didn't wake up, which is odd. And Opie puts out, and I'm sure Carl had a very good sense of humor. I'm sure he wouldn't give a shit. But Opie puts out a video of like, oh my gosh, this guy, he's always here, and he's passed out at work.
Had to check his pulse.
Had to check his pulse. Can you believe it? That crazy? He's always just like, I don't know if he's wasted or what's going on, but he's passed out in the booth. Huh.
Because Opie doesn't know what a hard worker is.
No, that's a good point. Yes. So, yeah, that's the latest from our friend Opie. Still coping.
Just don't like picking on Carl's.
You like picking on Carl's?
So I said you don't like him picking on Carl's.
Carl always the good guy.
He was.
He was.
The other Carl stinks.
I understand. I understand your point of view as well,
good.
my friend. All right. I want to get back into Stuttering John stand-up that was recently recorded. Gakia.
Buckle up for laughs.
I was looking for.
I have to run really
image.
quickly. Bye. Love you all.
Are you out?
Yeah, I'm out. Sorry. Bye.
That's
Have
all right.
fun.
Bye,
What a
Lucy.
sad time
What's
that
over
I'm
with
missing
Kaylee?
this.
What's
Yeah.
over with Kaylee on YouTube?
And Murder Game Podcast, the Murder Game Podcast on YouTube and Twitter. Come do that. All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Lucy.
She
Thanks for
hates
being
Stuttering John that much.
It's actually you. We've had long conversations about her dislike for you, Cardiff. All right, come back. You already chased her away. Doesn't matter now. So I was looking for an image of Stuttering John doing stand-up for a thumbnail that I had to create. And I saw this website. And I went, oh, yeah, that's what I'm looking for right there.
That's old.
It is. It's from 2016. And there he is doing his famous squeegee bit. And what I loved about this, I read the article because this is him in Vegas at a place called Adrenaline. And Adrenaline's like a sports bar and grill, but I guess they were trying to do comedy. So this person did a write-up on John at Adrenaline for Adrenaline. This is, he's trying to like promote it and get it going. So let's see what he thought about Stuttering John. There's 5 takeaways. It says, number 1, John Melendez rose to fame as an intern with a speech impediment on the Howard Stern show on his 20s. Now 50, the man best known as Stuttering John is still getting the most mileage out of his stage show with old Stern stories. I just, the way that's worded is not to, I don't think, rip on John, but it does.
Yeah.
Which is great. Number 2, perhaps his best Stern story during his July 8th show at Adrenaline was an encounter with Joan Rivers in which Melendez tried to catch the legendary jokester off guard during an interview by asking, "Do you think ugly people should be allowed to have children?" Rivers replied instantly, "No, and I told your parents that." And I'm going to play you in John's stand-up, Joan Rivers' joke that she thought of off the cuff gets the biggest pop of anything John's ever written, to the point where it's number 2 in this write-up. That was the joke this guy remembered. Joan Rivers. Hilarious. Number 3, on the arc of his varied entertainment jobs, which later saw him become the announcer for Jay Leno's Tonight Show, Melendez stated, "I went from the Stern Show to the Tonight Show, and now I'm at the Adrenaline Bar and Grill, and this is the highlight of my career."
He used that at the Boca.
Yep, he uses that everywhere. Mm-hmm. But I like that this guy saw this as like, "Hey guys, we're doing pretty good over here at Adrenaline." He says it's better than being on the Tonight Show. Number 4. The man known for his stutter told the possibly true story of how he got it, a gruesome tale about getting his penis caught in his zipper, with the only possible escape being his mother icing his junk down and then unzipping his unit from his pants. So this is the joke he tells that we've played on this show that is just a blatant ripoff of, what's the movie?
Something About Mary.
Something About Mary. He just takes that scene from Something About Mary and makes it when he was 21 and his mom had to do it.
And his Franks and his beans were
right. Yes, I think it's Franks over your beans, right? Other way around, I guess. And then number 5, Adrenaline has gathered momentum as a hotbed of comedy in the suburbs. There have been nights where there was basically nobody in the audience, and nights like this with a full house. But through it all, the owners and organizers continue to give local comics a great place to work out, and comedy fans a chance to see some talent play for free. And every now and again, a big name headliner comes through to keep everyone on their toes.
But not last night.
This was a big get for Adrenaline to get Stuttering John Melendez.
Oh, I thought they were talking about talent playing for free.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I assumed.
Yeah, I was wondering when a big headliner was going to show up.
That's very
I thought they were saying John was on his toes trying to look taller.
It's very possible.
But think 2016, he was still an if you wouldn't have heard of Stuttering John in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on Adrenaline's Facebook page. Oh, Stuttering John, cool. Like
for sure.
Now with the Dabbleverse,
things have changed.
Things have changed
quite a bit. So we left off at the 10-minute mark of his set. It's about a 45-minute long set. So I picked up where we left off last time. And John's a little flustered. He wants to do his Uber joke, but it takes him a long way to get there.
I haven't been doing this in a while. I took a little break, so I'm just kind of remembering where I am. But I'll tell you this. I was in Las Vegas. Now, you guys all live in Florida? No? Who said no? Oh, you guys are not from Florida? Where are you from? New York. Me too! Nueva York! I know that. This is amazing. I was on the Howard Stern show and the Tonight Show. But to give you an idea how bad my career is going, the other day I was in an Uber.
So that punchline starts 45 seconds into that setup. You guys all I was in Vegas. You guys all from Florida? No, you're not. Yeah, you didn't know that? A lot of people in Florida aren't from Florida.
Where was he going? If they all said, "Yay, Florida!" What was the Florida bit that he had?
Right. What did that even mean? Because he was talking about Vegas.
Right.
And then he does the Uber joke, and then he pivots back to Vegas. And this joke right here, the setup for it, for the punchline, is retarded.
But yeah, I mean, I've done some crazy. I was in Las Vegas. Gets so hot. I was headlining the Harrah's Improv. I was outside. It was 110 degrees, and the water in the pool was hotter than the air outside. I had to pee in it just to cool it off.
All of that, Harrah's, headlining, all of that was just to be like, the water is so hot in Vegas, I had to pee in it to cool it off. That was what that whole setup was for. And also, I do want to point out, I know a couple things about Vegas. If you're headlining and it's 110 degrees out, it is not the busy season. You have been brought in during the slow season for Las Vegas. That's not when a lot of the tourists want to go to Sin City.
Is that at least a new joke?
No.
Is it?
Well, the reason why I know it's not is because he obviously wrote it when he was headlining at Harrah's.
No, I know, but it's not something he's used a million times. Like
That's true.
This is him pulling something out of the notebook.
Yes, that's
that
true.
He was noodling on 10 years ago.
And Cardiff, this entire little Vegas set is, I'm not familiar with this part right here.
And this is the best. This is the best. This is a true story. I'm sitting there at the freaking, on one side of the pool, and I see this guy. He's got the fucking tattoos. He's got the muscles. He's got the girls all around. This guy can handle the world. Then he goes to jump into the water. I kid you not. He goes like this. What the fuck is that? Handle the world? You can't even handle some fucking water up your nose. Want to borrow my kid's swimmies?
All right, so Cardiff, to your point, have you heard that joke before?
No.
Oh, I haven't either. But I know it's old for two reasons. One, of course, my kid's swimmies.
Swimmies, yes.
He has a child that's in his 30s. This kid's on swimmies.
His youngest is in Harvard.
Yes,
None
this
of them
kid's on his
swimmies.
swimmies. It's so old that when he wrote that. The other reason I know that's old, and it's not funny, obviously. I think I plugged his nose when he jumped in. I don't like getting water up my nose either. Whatever. You can't jump into pools anymore. They don't have pools in hotels that are deeper than 3.5 feet. So this is going back a long ways, if that's even a possibility.
Well, again, I think he's alluding to the fact that this big muscle-bound tattoo guy is gay because he doesn't want to get.
And he yelled, "Just do it!" as he was diving into the water.
So he had to rewrite the joke a little bit. I can't call him gay anymore.
Right.
Let's see how I workshop this.
Yeah, that was so bizarre to me. I'm like, is that you really a thing to witness and then talk about in your stand-up routine? A guy plugged his nose when he jumped into the pool.
And there was a lot of preamble as if he was closing with that. Like, now this is the best.
Yeah, true
Everybody
story.
Brace
Guys,
yourselves.
This is a true story. This really happened. There's this guy, he's a stud. I was attracted. My swim trunks got real tight. Okay, we get it. Then he goes on and talks about bathroom attendants. He goes, the thing I don't like about Vegas is all the bathroom attendants. I heard them talking about this on Uncle Rico because they were breaking down his set from the night before, which is obviously very similar. I've been to a lot of casinos. Bathroom attendants are not a thing in casinos because there's so many fucking bathrooms all over the place. It would be ridiculous.
Maybe in the high roller room, but
yeah, high roller
John's
room,
not in there.
upscale restaurant. Not where John's going. He wouldn't see bathroom attendants, but whatever. He's got a bathroom attendant joke. And it's basically the same as the joke from his movie One Too Many. Hope you're not triggered by that, Cardiff.
A little bit.
When he was in the bathroom.
Do you want a guy in there hearing and fucking hearing everything you're doing in there? Listen, like, and hearing everything that's going on.
All right, hold on a second. I gotta free play that again. Do you want a guy in there who's hearing everything and listening and hearing? That's a weird list of things that's happening.
Do you want a guy in there hearing and fucking hearing everything you're doing in there? Listen, like, and hearing everything that's going on in there.
With his
the more
ears.
damage you do, the more compelled you are to tip. Then you get to the sink and the guy offers you a fucking piece of candy. I'm like with my stench wafting in there. I'm in no freaking mood for dessert. He's offered me a breath mint. How about an ass mint? I always ask myself, what does this guy do on bring your fucking kid to work day?
This is an old bit.
Poor kid shows up to show and tell with a roll of toilet paper and a plunger.
This is hack. And the audience is just so generous. Such a generous audience.
Yeah, that's old.
That's really old. What does he do on Bring Your Kid to Work Day? What about an ass mint? Showed up your ass, John.
The struggle to find another of the five senses. His smelling is right there, but he's like, did I say hearing yet?
Yeah, there's other things we could be talking about. I think it was Zen who pointed out the joke would be the guy wants a tip. I did all the work. Anyway, John's an idiot.
And ladies, let me ask you a question. Why is it? Because when I've been into ladies' bathrooms to do coke. I mean,
you're cool.
Why is it that the ladies' bathrooms are clean? They smell like roses. You go into guys' bathroom, it looks like a big brown shit bomb went off everywhere. It's disgusting. I swear to Christ, one time I was in a guy's bathroom and a guy left a piece of shit on the underside of the toilet lid. And to this day, I still can't figure out how the fuck I got it there.
Who didn't see that one coming, huh?
There it is.
There's that misdirection. And I said, they kept calling me Stutterface. I said, Mom.
Yeah. If he didn't say it, I would have.
I know. It's the same fucking formula for the shit. But he goes, you go into a men's room, and it looks like a brown shit bomb went off. If you're talking about a porta-john, maybe that would make some kind of sense. What's he talking about?
Well, he's used to red everywhere.
What's all this brown? Good point. A brown shit bomb went off. Is that the place with the bathroom attendant too? Because it's.
I think not. No.
I guess not.
They're two unrelated stories.
Okay, good. John has lived a very charmed life.
Skull! But yeah.
Oh, I discovered something about the skull thing. I realized. Typically, in your comic, if you want to take a sip of a drink, you have to wait for a laugh break. Seriously.
Yeah.
You got to hit him with a good punchline, and then you get a second to collect yourself, take a sip. John is worried. He knows he's not going to get that.
Right.
So now he's turned to do a thing. It's like, when I yell skull, you all yell skull, and then I can drink my beer, and it's not so awkward.
What a professional.
But yeah, I've had a fun life, great life. I had 3 kids. Each kid was conceived in a different state. Drunkenness, stoned, and the third, the worst state of all, New Jersey. Fuck New Jersey, come on.
All right, we've analyzed this joke before. The whole New Jersey thing was done by Joe Piscopo in the early 80s. Like we're still going there, John. What about New Jersey? That's a punchline. But also
Jug handle jokes. Waiting for it.
That's coming up.
Oh, okay.
But also he goes, in different states, and then he goes stoned. The state of stoned. It doesn't even grammatically make sense. Like I understand the concept of it, but he could have worded that in a way that
intoxication.
Right.
Yeah, that's a state.
The state of intoxication. The state of he's a fucking retard. So then he's talking about bariatric surgery and all these celebrities. Trust me, I'm cutting a lot of the stuff that we've heard a million times out. A lot of the celebrities have slimmed down, but their heads are still big.
Their
Wait,
bodies
hold on.
Yeah.
Bariatric surgery?
Yeah.
That's the hot trend for people losing a whole ton of weight right now.
Right. He could have said
Bariatric surgery.
Ozempic.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't update anything, and there's so many opportunities to do it.
At least make it a little bit up to date.
Well, coming up, he's going to bring up Kanye. And you'd think that there'd be at least 5 or 6 things he could have written in the last few months when he said all he's been doing is writing jokes for his one-man show. It's like, all right, we got to have some updated Ye stuff, right?
Their bodies are skinny, but their heads are still fucking gigantic. They look like freaking Pez dispensers. Fucking hell. But yeah, anyway, I was married freaking 13 years, which is like 127 in Kardashian.
I left all that in just because I love the transition. Fucking hell. But yeah.
Anyway.
Again, Kardashian divorces aren't hot top right now.
No, not even close. When was the last time that happened? I don't even know. Probably yay, I guess. But yeah, so speaking of Kim and Ye, he's got a great joke for that.
And then Kim, she had that giant ass, but enough about Kanye. I'm sorry, I'm a Swiftie.
So he's bringing up
person at the end there.
He's bringing up. So Taylor Swift has also done a lot of things since this incident that he's referring to, when Kanye got up while she was getting the award for best video or whatever. Like it was 2009, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
It's ridiculous. So he's going, well, I'm a Swiftie. That's why I don't like Kanye. And it's just like, well, Kanye and Kim haven't been a thing for a very long time. And Kanye versus Taylor Swift, what are we fucking talking about? So much has happened to both of their careers since then. There's
and
so
George
much to
Bush hates
discuss.
black people.
Right. He might as well be talking about Katrina while he's doing this. And then he goes into his whole bit about stupid names that celebrities name their kids. This one, tell me if you can, this is a head scratcher as far as what this means.
Like Kim and Kanye, what they name their kid? Northwest. Northwest. What the fuck is that? All I know is this kid better know how to take the fucking direction.
That doesn't make sense.
All I know is this kid better know how to take direction.
Yeah.
I mean, Northwest is a direction.
Right. That was the answer when you asked the question. What is that? It's a direction.
It is a direction. The kid better be able to take a direction. Huh?
Stupid.
Kanye is selling swastika t-shirts. John, you can't update your act with anything? You don't have anything new that you can add to this?
There's nothing I could do with that.
He said he loves Hitler on Alex Jones's show. Come on.
Like Kim.
Oh, sorry that we did that. It's maddening. And to think that there's people in this audience, and we talked to the guy who, Boca Dave, who was there and filmed it. And I think that a lot of the laughter is people who are just like mesmerized by what a drunken, awful buffoon this guy is. Because I think I'd be laughing at this too.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we do.
Right. Yeah, I am actually, now that I think about it. If I was there live, are you going to go to Cleveland, Cardiff? Or not Cleveland, but wherever he's playing in
Niles, Ohio.
Niles. Yeah.
I'm tentative. I'm actually thinking more about going to the Chiller Theater Con.
Oh, you know who's going to that is Michael Gavin Ali.
Okay, never mind.
And I told Michael that he is welcome on this show afterwards to report back to us. He's going to take some.
I think
photos
Lucy's
and videos.
going.
I was going to say, I know somebody who's going.
Lucy is going?
Correspondent Tightbox.
She said she's going.
Did she tell me this?
I guess
yes.
Not. Did you remember it?
Probably not.
I might go to Niles.
Okay. All right, we might get a crew there.
What the fuck is Kanye? Doesn't it sound like pig Latin, like Ikbe, Upye, Kanye?
His examples of pig Latin are not even pig Latin. No. What the fuck was... Let's listen to that again. Because that is really bad.
Doesn't it sound like pig Latin, like Ikbe, Upye, Kanye?
He said Bick and Yup were those examples.
Yeah. I don't think he knows what pig Latin is.
What's your point?
I don't think he gets it.
Bick Yup, Kanye.
Are you guys ready for the oldest reference possible?
Yes.
They named the kid Archie. What was Jughead taken?
All right, here's a trivia question for you guys. Okay. When was the first time Jughead appeared in an Archie comic? What was the year? This is the joke that John just made.
Oh, shit.
58.
47.
December of 1941. Oh my God. Fucking Pearl Harbor. December of 41 was the world was introduced to Jughead. That's John's joke. So then we get to the part where John goes through and tells you all the questions he's asked celebrities that either Jackie or Fred wrote, but now he uses that in his act. Can't stop himself. Going back to that article I read to you where it's like that's still like the biggest thing of his stand-up set is talking about working for the Howard Stern show. And I love this because a guy in the audience ruins it for him, but it doesn't stop John.
Of course not.
School!
He's training him. He's getting the audience trained. It's good.
So I was Stuttering John on the Howard Stern show. If any of you, thank you, and I love being there. But for anybody who knows, I was pretty much a professional asshole. I mean, I asked celebrities the crazy questions. Do you know that, sir?
And now he's an amateur asshole. That sucks.
He could be an asshole.
I asked celebrities.
I'm sorry, what's that, Cardiff?
He could be an asshole in the Olympics now.
Yes, qualifies.
I mean, I asked celebrities the crazy questions. Do you know that, sir? I didn't think you did. But what's that?
Hello, Dolly.
Yes, I was just going to do that. Thank you for killing that one for me.
So John goes, hey, you guys know about this? You hear about this? And the guy yells out, hello, Dolly. And so it's like, well, John's not going to now tell that.
No, I asked the Dalai Lama if people go up to and say, hello, Dolly. Yeah, see, thank you.
Right, so skip that one. You got a bunch of examples. The guy yelled that one out. Skip it.
His OCD won't allow him to.
Is that what it is? Or does he have zero instincts for how comedy works?
Yeah. I got to fill 50 minutes.
Yes. Well, yell skull 8 more times.
He starts singing Hello, Dolly.
All right. This is the last joke I'm going to play for us in this segment. This is another 10 minutes or so of John's set. And again, this is the biggest pop of the entire set.
I said, Joan, do you think ugly people should be allowed to have children? She said, no, and I told your mother that. She was a genius.
Genius.
But I do stutter.
Okay. So you could tell the difference between the laughter in the room with Joan Rivers' line versus everything else.
An actual joke.
Yes, that actually got people enjoying a show for a minute there.
Well, he's also been building. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say she was a genius as opposed to what I am.
Right.
Just stealing.
If only
other
she
people's
would have
jokes.
written 45 minutes for him, he could have a decent set.
Right.
He's also been training this audience for now 20 minutes to hate him. So,
right.
When Joan snaps back at him, it's funny.
That's a good point. All right, we got a game to play.
You know, it's no different than, a police officer running to the scene of a crime or a firefighter running into a burning building. It's what I do.
Cardiff has graciously created a game for us. 2 minutes with Tom Myers.
It's time for everyone's favorite new game show. 2 minutes with Tom. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to fumble a joke?
Zooming in.
You should be very proud of me because I actually have made a lot of financial contributions to several organizations which provide financial assistance to single moms. Well, let me rephrase that. I go to a lot of strip clubs. I was at this one strip club. I saw the marquee sign out front. It said, "Tonight, amateur and high school dropout night." So purely out of curiosity, I decided to walk in. Sure enough, I'm not in there more than 2 minutes. This one girl comes up to me and goes, "Hey there, sugar, you want a lap dance?" I go, "Yeah, sure." She goes, "All right, let me go put my baby down first." Hey, that is called responsible parenting, all right? Guys, you know this. It's bad enough seeing the stretch marks right there without having the fucking kids screaming in the background, all right? It's like, "Can I have my $5 back, please, lady? Thank you." Tell you a real experience I had. I went to a strip club in Alabama. Woo! You see some folks down there, let me tell you. I I was in a strip club. I was seated next to this one guy. While the girl was dancing on stage, he was going, turns to me and goes,
What did Tom say next? Here are your choices. Number 1, there's my daughter and my cousin. B, I taught her that. Next, I can't wait for the banjo solo. 4, my sister looks so pretty in her wedding dress. And lastly, I love you, Mama. 2 minutes with Tom.
Oh boy, all of these are possible. Cardiff is starting to write in the voice.
Figure him out.
I think you figured him out here. It could be any of these. I'm going to go with 4. My sister looks so pretty in her wedding dress because it's so nonsensical. It just seems like something that he would do. Trucker Andy.
I'm trying to think of the worst. I'm going to go with 1. Not to belabor this.
All right. There's my daughter.
I went next.
And my cousin, you're going next. I can't wait to see. Yeah, the banjo solo definitely intrigued me because he goes to that.
He brings
a
up
lot.
Deliverance a lot.
He
Yeah.
brings it up a lot. All right, let's find out.
he was going, turns to me and goes, see right up there? There's my daughter and my cousin. There was only one girl up there.
Congrats, Andy.
You drive through Alabama, you see a lot of interesting signs. I drove through, I saw a sign one time that said, welcome to Tuscumbia, Alabama, birthplace of Helen Keller. When you know it, there was nothing to see there.
That's all for this time. Come back next time to find out if you can find the bomb. Playing 2 minutes with Tom. Brought to you by Hackamania.com. Promo code COME. Hackamania is happening this May 9th to 11th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Go to Hackamania.com right now and get your tickets using promo code COME to save 10%. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Hackamania.com. And if you use any promo code other than COME, you paid too much.
It's not true.
No, it is. Sit, Eugene, sit. Good dog.
All right, very good, Cardiff. Andy's our big
What
winner.
did Tom say next?
Oh, what the
Here
fuck?
are your choices.
Vinny,
Number
Round
1.
2.
This is the second time this has happened on Cardiff's videos. Are you doing this on purpose?
It's a
now?
hidden track.
It sure is. All right, well, congratulations, Andy.
Yes.
On your
Good
big victory.
Good game, Cardiff.
Andy brought it today, everybody. Andy introduced us to this Master the Allegations against Neil Gaiman, something that he's been following very closely on All Apologies, the All Apologies podcast.
Thank you. Yes. We just did an episode about Marion Barry recently back in the news because a DC pizza place decided to create a dessert that was full of extra powdered sugar, and they had to apologize to Marion Barry's widow over that.
Wait, they called it the Marion Barry?
Yeah, it was Marion Barry's jelly knots with extra powdered sugar.
That's
that
hilarious.
Are so good, it's criminal.
Why would you apologize for that?
So, yeah, that was great. And we're going to be giving away tickets to Dabble House on All Apologies.
Nice.
So I would ask people to go follow the Instagram account so you can see how to throw your hat in the ring. Get your name in the bucket for free tickets. Probably for Hackamania, too. I think we're doing some giveaway things over there.
Is that sanctioned? Is Patrick Melton allowing you to do this? Wow. Very generous.
I'll spend
of
my
you.
money the way I want to spend it, Carl.
Very generous of you. All
Apologies.
apologies.
Yeah.
Allapologiespodcast.com
When I buy tickets, I will use promo code COME.
for all of your links. And of course, Cardiff has got dabbleverse.tv. These URLs are going to get confusing because we got dabblecon.live, dabbleverse.tv.
That's all
We'll
you
figure
need.
it out.
So
Smart people out there.
Patreon.com/Cardiff Electric takes you where you want to go, Carl.
Cardiff, you've been doing fantastic Chad Zumach content lately. Chad is getting his Roadcaster back on Wednesday. Excited about that?
Yes, he's got an exact delivery date for his Roadcaster. We've been digging in. We've been digging into Chad. And I figured out why Chad might have broke his Roadcaster.
Oh.
He showed us the email. Because again, when Chad has proof of something,
he
has to show you.
Yep.
If there was a doorbell camera footage of cops at his door, he would have to show us.
Yes.
He would need to, but he showed us his return thing for his Roadcaster, and he bought the cheap Roadcaster Duo, which is just a cheap piece of plastic made by the Rode Corporation. It's not a robust Roadcaster that a professional podcaster uses, Carl.
I see. So when he threw it across the room because his show got canceled in AC, that's why it broke so easily.
Yeah, it was easily just falls apart. A real Roadcaster you could throw. It'll be okay.
I've covered this on WATS and This Little Piggy, but I'll bring it up one more time because it's worth it. Chad claimed he cut his show short on Thursday and then went on Instagram and claimed that 5 cops came to his house because they were told that there were guns and drugs in his apartment. And Cardiff did a little sleuthing.
Not a single police was dispatched to Chad's street. Even a 5-mile radius on that afternoon, Chad.
Chad can't stop lying about everything. And he even said on Friday, because I was watching a show, I wanted to see what his explanation was for this thing. He goes, obviously I'm not lying or I would have made up a more interesting story. Yeah. No, you're just not creative, asshole. That's what it comes down to. No cop. You wouldn't send 5 cops to a guy's apartment because someone said that they had guns and drugs. We talked about this on This Little Piggy with Patrick. It's like, no, there has to be like someone in trouble. Like, unless you have a search warrant, what are you going to do about guns, which are legal, and drugs?
Yeah, everybody in Florida has guns and drugs.
Right. But if the call, like when you SWAT someone, it's like, oh, this guy's going to kill his wife, or there's children in there, in some kind of danger. Like that's. I'm not trying to give people ideas, by the way. That's how you normally get the police.
What do you have to do?
No. That's how you get the police to actually do something. Chad makes up this fucking ridiculous story. It's obviously fake.
And it was all this happens all the time. They're pretty minor, but I don't bring it up. I don't encourage it. But the big one that happens, I'm going to run right to MLC. Yes. Finally get back on MLC and try and get some sympathy.
He's incredible. So I love what you're doing covering Chad. What's the name of your show again?
Idiot Autopsy. We don't only cover Chad.
Right.
We did a members only this week where we happen to cover Chad. But we don't always cover Chad. We're always looking for new idiots. But this Thursday on Idiot Autopsy, I think we're going to cover Chad.
I'll be there for it, buddy. Looking forward to it. Thanks for coming on. Please join us again next time. It might be the episode where we find out once and for all who are these podcasts. Sleep well, everybody.
Farting in the mosh pits of morning radio.
Okay. Great show. Good job, everybody.
Great job, everyone.
Internet news with Lucy Tightbox.
From Spotify, Yabia Boylanik opines, Carl is a JDI and Adam is a Shuli. Lance riffs, this episode makes me look so young for my beverage. Red Scoper suggests, you should have gotten corn diff on for the Opie segment. From Reddit, MLG123 asks, is Patrick Michael material boring to anyone else? Eric Foster counters with, I get a chuckle out of his music duet clips. He's so terrible, yet so confident. We haven't heard those in a couple years, though. The rest is terrible. Fartenheimer chimes in, I enjoy it. I think I'm fascinated by his ignorance and incompetence. But I don't know. Baloney Cannon shoehorns. I just want the Lisa Boswell material to never dry up. The Fasting Showman notes, he's quite fun to loathe. He's a parasite on society who is somehow entitled. Solipsistic vanity. Hot by 8686 reports, WATP had on Ben Sixsmith, the writer of the UK article Shredding Lol Cow Stuttering John. Land-based 43. I thought it was a great get, and I enjoyed his analysis. He was like the British Adam Bush. With every article and mainstream mention, the Dabbleverse spreads its insidious web. One day the entire world will know of John's buffoonery. Fudgical fantasizes. How great would it be if this began to spread to a wider media world? Rogan, send Ben the link. Fred214 writes, Carl is the ultimate troll. But Jay Snappa reminds us, trolls hide in the shadows. Carl lives in the sunlight. He's not a troll. He's a god. Industry puzzle dads. I would lean on the side of John attacking Carl's wife, family, brother, band, guitar playing, trying to get Vinny to turn on him, attacking producer Chris, etc. just showing what an absolute loser, deadbeat father, and failure he is. Michael Popak, the drunk buffoon, is going across the pond. And from YouTube, 1311 Lucky confesses, I'm going to be honest with myself. I don't want Opie to get better. The crazier he gets, the more entertained I am. Jackpots After Dark. Opie putting up the comments in the chat is the equivalent of him going to the phones on O&A. He has nothing. Never has had anything. Terrible Palsy observes, Opie's CDS, Kumia derangement syndrome, is eating him alive, and he's unraveling before our very eyes. Paul Fix offers up free material for Stuttering John's act.
I went for a colonoscopy, and the doctor came up with a mouthful of blood.
Filler One points out, Adam has court mediator at the end of his rope kind of vibes. Ed Priolo gets us thinking, has anyone ever seen John's rider? I wonder what demands he has for the green room. Robert Smithers is despondent. The fact that I hear laughter from the audience makes me weep for humanity. And JS Music and Drums plays us out with, Dice Clay is rolling in his grave.
Well done, as always. Thank you to the Internet News segment producers,
wherever they may be.
Lucy and producer Chris. Let's hit some voicemails and get out of here.
Hey, Carl, with those jacked up fucking teeth and that giant beak you got under those glasses,
yeah,
how the fuck are you able to deep throat all of Adam Bush's cock? That's definitely impressive, bro. All Diddy, all day.
Okay. I don't think that was complimentary.
Something was said about something not good
about how good you suck cock.
There's this big controversy if you watch Steel Toe. They have the morning show and they have the evening show, and the viewers are in an epic battle against each other.
Carl Deluxe, this rivalry between the morning people for the Aaron M. Holt show and the evening people is fucking heating up, man. Oh, I hate these morning people. Fuck them.
Some people get really into it too. It's crazy. You got to pick a side though. You got to pick a side. I think Boner Guy is mad at me.
Go Chiefs. Fuck you, Carl.
What?
That fucking Opie coverage in last episode was utterly interminable. I know in the past I've been quick to bandy around terms such as imbecilic cretin, but he really is a despicable bastard. Those noises he makes always just go on for just that fucking bit too long. I'm seriously losing tooth enamel here. You'll be getting the bill for my fucking dentist. But at least we got to watch the lovely Lucy Tightbox in your place on the latest creepoff.com, which is why I want everyone to vote for Lucy at the creepoff.com. There. No.
What the fuck?
Oh, he really is pissed.
Jesus Christ. All right, man. Sorry. Messed up. Oh, I should have said congrats to Lucy for doing such a wonderful job in the creep off in my absence. But now I won't. Gary in San Diego.
Hey, Carl. Well, we had a listening party yesterday to hear Stuttering John's Black Boca Box set. And we were expecting some fresh new material.
Sure.
He's been working on that stuff for 3 or 4 years now. 5 new jokes every day. But instead, we get the same verbal shoe shine that he's been putting out for the last 3 or 4 years. Same crap. Regurgitated cud. Basically, that's what it is. He should be ashamed of himself, charging his fans for that those jokes. It's terrible.
Right.
How many times have you heard I've been married 13 years, 3 good ones?
A lot.
John, give it up. Anyway, I don't know what he's going to do, but he's got nowhere to go with that crap act. Do you agree? Rock and roller.
No, I think it's marketable and he's going to do very well with it. What do you think? What do you think I think? It's too bad that a listening party we're all disappointed by it, though. That's a bummer.
Hey, I like to dress up like a puppy. Adam Bush. That's pretty sexy to me. Glad you agree with my lifestyle. Also, Carl, you're not gay. Fucking pick a lane, bro. I'm gay, I'm not gay. Fucking, what is it? What is it gonna be? You don't like to suck, you don't like a man's mouth on your cock because you like your mouth on a man's cock or maybe a girl cock. All right. Fuck off. I'm out of here. Send me a fax. Bye.
Okay, will do. All right.
Make some good points.
Am I confusing people with my sexuality?
Stop teasing the fans.
Hey, Carl. Just getting around to listening to 601. I know you're probably about to record for today, but I just wanted to chime in with Army Hammer in his hunting segment.
Right.
That is something that I've heard. I am an avid hunter down in Texas. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, but I know multiple people that have done that.
He's referring to Armie Hammer saying that he took a bite out of the deer's heart.
Yeah.
Which seems unhealthy.
Right. That's more of like a movie trope, like when they're featuring like Native Americans or something.
Okay.
It's like honoring the kill or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've heard of it.
All right.
But I wouldn't do it.
No, it's crazy.
It's weird as fuck. I have never done it because I'm not a fucking psycho.
Right.
But I know a lot of people that have done it.
Okay.
That it's completely normal. They're dads and they're like, whatever. You know, it's like you fuck with like a teenager. Is kind of the way that I understood it, and then it's like, oh, that became like a thing. You know, like the teenager just accepts the weird shit their dad and his drunken buddies do at the hunting cabin because they're like, hey, yeah, do it. But I don't know when Armie Hammer did it. But if he's like a grown adult. Kind of fucking weird, but just saying, I have heard of it. I do know people that have done it. That's in his defense, slightly. Not defending all the like weird women shit, even though did they deserve it? Who knows?
Did they deserve it? Probably. Oh, okay. I did strong. He called back a couple of times. Here's one for producer Chris.
Hey, Carl, I know I've called a lot in the last hour, but I'm on a long drive. You know, what can you do?
Call a friend.
I just want to say, like, props to producer Chris. You know, I'm a long time listener, not a really big contributor. You're welcome. But I remember when Chris first joined the show and first started talking, and you know, I was a little reticent of him. I was a little combative. I know I called in motherfucking him, and he was like, "Whoa, chill out, man." But you know, after being parasocial the last few years, he's really grown created a warm spot in my heart. You know, I love his little quips, his zingers. If y'all's respect in my eyes has like almost had an inverse relationship where yours has decreased and Chris's has increased dramatically.
Jesus.
He is on a long drive.
Yeah, I just wanted to give producer Chris his due after 601 episodes. 600 is kind of even. But yeah, you know, like shout out producer Chris. He's a real one. He's an OG. Call me back. My number is 281.
He is an OG. You have to put me down. You could give Chris props without putting me down. Jesus Christ.
It's not all just abuse from my drunken father and his buddies. It's love for producer Chris.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I gotta go. Bye. I gotta go.
Okay, bye.
Go fuck yourselves. Have a good week. I gotta go. Good.
Jesus, I gotta go.
Bye.
This is getting stupid.
Good.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I don't know. Who gives a shit? Why am I even still doing this? I'm out of here.
I gotta go. Bye. I gotta go.
Man, that was a good episode.
That was a good episode.
I enjoyed that.
Okay, bye.
Let's go already.